And welcome back, one and all, to the land of Sundered Crowns, the city of Karak Agzor beneath the Aglanon Peaks. The party has just returned from a successful foray out into the underground passages and river canal and river network of the Dwarven Kingdom of Gurdak, wherein you in a way defeated, but certainly overcame, at least, the half-lich Kardec Bode, as well as destroying the nexus of necromantic energy that he had created in cahoots with the Death Djinn Ivrakta. As part of this, Naira also utilized the power bound within the nexus to cast a wish, which he used to realign Lord Xavier Murdoch to the side of good. This was initially a private matter for her. However, as the effects of this wish were spread, most notably, one of the most notable effects being the appearance of minions of the plane of Mechanus, who were seeking to, shall we say, tidy up some of the leftover debris that the wish had caused. In the wake of this, Naira revealed her actions to the rest of the group, but they are still largely contained therein, as when you returned and discussed with the matter with the dwarves of Gazbarak Thor, you were largely able to keep from them the precise nature of the wish that you made, but did discuss in a pretty great amount of detail the rest of the events that had happened. For your part in it, they were very grateful. Grand Archivist Dagnar had declared that she would be withdrawing the Spire's objection to the iteration of the Stone Accords by the Dwarven Parliament, and also gave Baranor permission to discuss with you a part of Gerdak's history known as the Letad Jagask, which those of you who speak Dwarven will understand translates roughly to the search for a target or solution. He discussed how centuries before, during the days of the Haraktan Empire, the Dragonborn Empire that once dominated the coast, the dwarves established outposts known as Kars throughout the rest of the Aglanon Peaks and portions of the coast. And one such outpost, Kars Barazad, would hold the key to Wander's desire to converse with the Ursunals, as well as potentially other information that would be of interest to the group, given that it was a nexus of their efforts to identify the source of the corruption that the Fivefold Truth and others like them seem to serve. Following this revelation, he revealed two methods that you could use to access the Kars. First, underground via the Gierdvaten, which was a great highway, a canal that had been dug out toward the western peaks, and would carry you most of the way to the Kars before it descended down deeper into the Underdark. The other way being overland to where the Kars met the surface, a part of it known as the Celestial Observatory, which had evidently played some part in its observations and function. The group chose, as their path, the route to the Celestial Observatory. And so we resume today's session with you guys having completed your discussion with Baranor about the route that you would take and Kars Barazad itself, as well as the Tadjagask. Wander, you asked him about an object from the Kars for the purposes of the Find the Path spell. He states that though he does not have such a thing to hand, he does certainly believe that such an item could be found and provided to you, should you be willing to stay in town until the following day. That will give him time to have the storehouses checked, and the archives, I should say, checked, and any suitable item brought forth from the vaults.
At that, he would look at the others, and then look back, nod, and then look at the others again. Like,
Well,
If you're
with
comfy with
that
that,
concluded.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah, just you're comfy with that, sure.
With that concluded, are there any other questions for Baranor or any other business that you wish to conclude in Karak Agzor as you return to Ind Mindel, your place of lodging?
nothing from me.
Yeah, not necessarily. I've tied up all of my loose ends here.
Well, do we want to sell stuff now, or?
It's in the evening? Late afternoon?
It's probably a kind of early-ish afternoon at this point.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we could. Like, hey, we have to waste a day. Let's go. Unless somebody has
I
something
prefer
they
to
want
spend.
Uh-huh.
Well, we definitely need to go shopping. We need to be able to prepare for the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And shopping we go.
Okay. Given your status as preferred guests and in favor of Gazbarak Thor, you are given permission to speak to their vendors and guildmasters. And essentially any magical items or materials that you wish to sell, they would be more than happy to negotiate with you for, and they would also be most likely the most likely source of any enchantments or other artifacts that you wished to obtain. Though obviously the entire city is engaged, or much of the city, I should say, is engaged in the business of crafting various goods. Where the mundane forms may be manufactured outside, Gazbarak Thor is the nexus of magic, and unless you are looking for a divine item specifically, it is likely to be found within the vaults of Gazbarak Thor. So you are able to actually conclude much of your business there. If you raise this issue with Baranor as to where you would be able to source any particular item, he would put you in touch with the essentially the vault master, and inform them that he has permission to essentially negotiate with you for anything that would not be considered restricted.
Final thing, Nari is going to ask if there are any galleries or museums or anything of entertainment that Uther would probably enjoy.
Yes, you are in this. Gazbarak or Karak Agzor is not only a capital of manufacturing but also of culture. There are several places where you could expect to find diversion. There are various performance, what are called performance caverns, essentially, which are caverns that have been specifically honed and formed for acoustic excellence, where operas and the like are held daily and sometimes across the course of several days, these being dwarves. There are also, every family that considers itself worthy of being called a part of a clan will have, at the very least, a shrine of the ancestors that will contain portions of their history, and the grander the clan, the grander the shrine, the grander the museum that goes along with it. And in terms of these being open to the public, absolutely, the point is to show off. So, certainly in this part of the city, which is a more affluent one, where many of the great clan houses kind of stand, yes, throw a rock, you'll hit a edifice that hides a vast and wonderful museum. There is
Right.
also, if you, depending on your preferences, you may also wish to visit the crystalline waters, which are a Arctic, a combination of where a number of channels of Arctic meltwater from the higher mountains are brought in and pushed through a series of waterworks. In order to control them, they are a marvel of dwarven mechanical engineering and also noted for their great natural beauty and reputed healing properties of the frigid water. So yes, there certainly are many, many options for diversion, and this being dwarven place, there are also, of course, great quantities of ale at most of these places, and even more places that are devoted purely to the imbibement of even greater quantities of ale.
Alright, where to first?
Well, if you wish to conclude your kind of shopping before the before leaving the spire, we can absolutely do that first.
And sounds like the plan to me.
Okay, so what is it? Obviously, I gave you rough gold piece values for most of the kind of just materials and stuff that you found. Almost all of which, like any golem components, inks, incense, anything like that, powders, any of that, Gazbarak Thor would absolutely be happy to take off your hands and pay you a fair price for. If you have specific items that you would also be looking to sell, let me know what they are, and I will tell you how much Gazbarak Thor would be willing to part with to add them to their vaults.
I spelled that wrong.
Granad. Now we're discussing a singular item that we are not sure if we want to keep or not.
I mean, do you like if you guys want to do this out loud? There's
No,
nothing.
no.
No, I'll send you the thing. Is everybody okay with that list?
Didn't we give the potion of psychic resistance to Magnus?
I don't. Oh,
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
missed
because he was
that.
like, that's the only thing that I'm not resistant to when I get a headache, so...
It's like, there you
And
go.
he was going to take it during the fight, but he got sent on timeout.
Anybody else want to sell any?
I don't have anything I should sell. Or rather, I have things I should sell, but I'm not going to.
It's been on Sunshine.
Well, let's grab it.
Sure. I think the reason I was holding on to it was I was trying to get more. That I was trying to get Wander to make her splint armor out of like several different pieces. But yeah, that's sellable.
Okay.
And the giant raptor clawed hooks, which, if I recall correctly, were from the big magic birds.
Oh, the yes, the rocks, or not the rocks, the kind of the small ones. Yes, the ones that you fought
Yeah.
outside the island. Yes,
Yeah.
I do recall those.
Yeah, I believe that's where
Yes,
they're
if you
from.
wish to sell those.
Because I've
Okay.
had them for a long ass while. I was saying they could also potentially be bone carved into like climbing hooks of some kind, potentially. If
I
somebody-
mean,
we do need climbing, just in case, climbing gear, maybe. Who
Well,
knows?
I can make the hooks into like actual grappling hooks if I have time.
Well, you do know Baranor was able to give you a very precise location for the Celestial Observatory. The entire point of it was to take readings of, planar and celestial phenomenon. And so they obviously knew its location incredibly precisely. And you would be aware that it is very high up on the near the peak of a mountain that is on the southern edge of the Agranon Peaks, about 120 miles to the west of Karak Agzor. If you look on the Harashan coast map, you'll be able to see Kars Barazad marked there.
Yay! Little
And,
custom marker now.
I'd be
Have
more
this
than
people-
happy to help Uther if he wanted to maybe persuade in Dwarven. It's a big deal.
Oh yeah, no. If you walk in speaking what you speak, yeah, they're totally gonna rip you off.
Okay, so
I would definitely try and help in that.
I'm going to leave that in your very capable hands.
okay, so for the components and material, you can just take those at face value. So 690 gold for those, as well as the 1.2k worth of valuable metals and arcane components. So that will be a total of 1,890.
Yeah.
You can just give that all to me. It's fine.
For the rest of it, Uther, yes, do please go ahead and roll me a persuasion check with advantage from the assistance of your lovely wife.
23!
23. Okay. Though they are initially reluctant to take portions of it off your hands, and certainly some of this you do need to go beyond Kars Barazad to, or not Gazbarak Thor to sell, given that they are more mundane. You are able to find a outlet of the smithing guild where you're able to kind of negotiate this stuff with them. Some of it, the chainmail and the long swords and the like, they are initially reluctant to take off your hands, considering that they are not of dwarven make and therefore automatically inferior. However, you make a very persuasive argument that even from inferior work there are, and potentially especially from inferior work, there are lessons that can be learned. And therefore, they are willing to parley with you for them. So, for the chainmail, they will take those off your hands for 30 gold apiece. The long swords, given that they are kind of not necessarily doing it in bulk, but that they are kind of slightly used with one previous and usually unfortunate owner, they will take those for 5 gold apiece. The large crossbow they are quite interested in, however, given that it is of Dwergar manufacture and shows some rather interesting components and some and clues as to the armament and methodologies of one of their racial enemies. They are willing to give you a very good price for that.
Talking about the crossbow machine gun.
Precisely. And that one, they will actually they do somewhat change their tune when you plonk that down on the counter, and will give you 400 gold for the rapid fire crossbow. The bejeweled alchemy kit.
It's bedazzled.
You can poison people in style.
Yes.
You can yassify your poison.
That they will take off your hands for 110 gold pieces. the Staff of the Adder, the Wand of Fear. Oh, and the Splint Armor, they will take for an additional 75.
Okay.
Now, the Arcane Foci. One being significantly fancier than the other. One moment here. Here we go. The Arcane Foci, they will take both of those off your hands for 120 gold total. 20 gold for one, 100 gold for the other, essentially, given that it was of much finer make. The 2 giant raptor clawed hooks, are you keeping those or are you selling them?
That's cool.
Selling them.
Selling them?
I'm
Okay.
sure-
Given-
he would wander and do that, like, unless you want to upgrade him into super ultra something. No, maybe.
They'd be hooks.
Then we'll sell them. Okay, I got you.
Okay. Given the rarity of them and quality of the material, they will take those for 20 gold apiece.
And monster hunting pays.
Yeah.
And now, which spellbook are you prepared to part with? I imagine not Cardex, but you
Not
also picked up
Cardex.
2 from his apprentices.
Yeah, but there was also a third one that we picked up at the very, very beginning, like near the gate.
Right, from the Mook.
Yeah, that was the one
Yeah.
that I picked up, and I was like, oh, I already know all these evil dude spells. Maybe I should have one.
Yes, that one, given the value of what is contained within, Gazbarak Thor will actually be very happy to take that into their vaults and will pay you a bounty on it of 450 gold pieces.
Nice.
However, they are also willing to offer you, instead of simple coinage, they would also be prepared to offer you goods in kind, which, if you preferred, you could get inks and parchments suitable for spell scribing. That would be worth up to 750. So either 450 in gold or 750 in inks and parchment.
How much would that buy me, for curiosity?
That's a lot of spells.
A fair amount. Here we go. Oh, no, hang on.
Okay, so that's up to... a lot.
What, if you're considering the 450?
No, the 750 of spell stuff.
Ah,
If you guys don't mind.
because without the 450, we're at 885 gold at the moment.
I thought we had more than that.
That's without all the like jewels and such.
Okay.
You know, all the components worth 450 gold. Yeah, it's without all that.
Here we
That
go.
would be easier, because the large crossbow. Oh, and the spell book. You're right. I'm sorry, my brain. It's like 15 levels.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, it's 50 gold pieces per level of the spell
Mhm.
that you wish to scribe.
I mean, do you guys mind?
So that would be 15 spell levels that you could copy over.
What would you guys prefer?
Go ahead.
You do you? That'll fund you for a long ass while. So go for it.
I already have.
Just keep it in a place that's not going to get wet.
Yep. Put this here.
So, 50.
So the staff of the adder. If you guys are all good to keep going.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. The staff of the adder, as a rather potent magical item, they will be happy to take off your hands for 1,200. And the wand of fear, they are willing to offer a bounty of 1,300 for such a powerful and questionable item to be locked safely away in their grasp.
I think we've officially made enough to buy the home in Whiterun.
Yep.
So does that mean you want us to buy you a small house and put it on the property?
Yeah.
He
What
probably
can
just-
a warlock shack?
It's an igloo.
I'm gonna go sleep in a hole.
Actually, sorry. Add 500 gold pieces to the total for the staff of the adder and the wand of fear.
Ooh.
So that is a total of 3,000, not 2,500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're at 3,885, and then you said the 1.2 thousand worth, or 1.2k,
I
worth
believe we're
of
at 775, right?
valuable metals.
Well, and we also
So-
had 1,800 GP and just like ingots and shit.
Yeah, so it's 450 from components, 170 from various coins, which brings it to 620, plus another 240 of components and materials, which is 880, and then 1.2k, which actually rounds it out to 2,800 or 2,080. Just of like just the like random kind of fungible goods that you had with you.
It pushes 59.45.
Okay.
If you were keeping track of like everything at once, I trust your number. Yeah, at the moment,
just-
with all that, I'm at 5,945.
Why can't I? My calculator's not working.
You were using a calculator? I was using my head.
Yeah, I want to keep track of the numbers. I'm just double checking my work.
Yeah, I'm writing everything down.
But I was trying to double check my work. It's not letting me.
It's had a spasm. Wander, help us out.
No.
Damn it.
Find yourself a cleric.
But you are a cleric.
Cap.
You want a hat?
I mean, I have healing spells. So I'm a cleric, right?
Alright, I feel like we're going down the evil route.
I did prepare create undead.
That's not evil.
Apparently it's inconclusive.
Well, I mean, I create undead all the time. I shoot them in the head, and they go from living to the undead. Okay, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, no, that's different.
It's slightly
there.
different.
Like I said,
Those two
Lorm's
letters literally make a world of difference.
gonna break his oath, become an oath breaker, and have a bunch of undead.
You also mentioned, by the way, that you had certain things that you wanted to inquire about, specifically things to deal with the weather. Did you say?
Yes, but I just want to make. I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong with the gold. How much gold? Because I've got for the chainmail longswords, 2 magical foci, the bejeweled alchemy kit, large crossbow, staff of the adder, wand of fear, splendid armor, and the raptor claw hooks. I've got 3885.
Yep.
And then we had no, I think I've added too much gold here. Then I have 1982 minus 72 because we had 72 left over. So 1890. Worth,
Sounds right.
well, worth of materials. So like the 1200 in very valuable metals.
Yeah.
That we sourced from the thingies,
Mhm.
and alchemy stuff, right?
240, yeah, and then 450,
Yeah.
and then the 170 in coinage.
And 170 in coinage, and then in addition to that, I had listed here 1.8 thousand, or 1.8 thousand in ingots, gems, and other things. Is that right?
That sounds about right. That's not stuff that you would have to sell. That would just could be
No, yeah.
considered like gold. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So no,
just
that
making
sounds about
sure
right.
I'm not. Okay, cool.
And that brings you up to a total of
I'm just looking now. 7,837.
Sounds right.
Which means we all get about. Oh, hold on. No, I did that wrong. And party funds is.
an absolute goofy amount. We make our own empire. They have clerics and warlocks living in tandem.
Why?
True unison. Wander's the cult leader.
Good to know nothing changed.
So we each get 784, with 3,917 going into party things. Or we can split that up differently if you guys would prefer. But we're gonna have to fix up our house, our fief.
Sounds good to me.
So 784 GP.
To everyone?
Yep. So I am I carrying your purse? Am I just gonna double that for me?
Minus 35. I want to have 100 gold pieces on me.
Wait,
Okey-doke.
I'm sorry, how much for everybody?
It's a total of
784.
784.
784 for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 3,917 to go into party funds.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
The hardest part of this game is math.
Most of this is obviously provided in the form of large ducats of platinum. So you guys aren't actually kind of carrying around just like these giant stacks of coin. But nonetheless, you are presented with at pretty much every stop you make. Most significantly at Gazbarak Thor itself, you are presented with kind of a iron-bound chest, which contains these large ducats of platinum that are worth a couple hundred gold pieces each. However, you are in this way well funded. You spend most of the afternoon in conversation with the Vault Master, as he is known, of Gazbarak Thor, as well as the appropriate kind of storefront keeper, if you like, of various other guild houses, depending on precisely what it is that you are trying to sell. And in this way, you while away much of the afternoon. And just so we don't have to wait too much longer, I know that there are also some purchases that you are considering, but just so we can get him in on the action, as what passes for evening draws in this underground city, the ever-burning lamps that light much of the public spaces begin to be turned down. The bustle in the streets lessens slightly, and as people as the various clans withdraw to their preferred alehouses, and the sounds of industry are replaced by the sounds of quaffing and celebration and dwarven clan songs reverberating off the stone roofs, as you guys return to Indmindal, known as the Toll House. Whereupon you are greeted by a familiar face, Midnight, who you left behind in Perona, on some mysterious business, is in the common room and looks up to greet you.
You all walk in and he just goes, well, 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 look what the cat dragged in.
Excuse me.
And then he kind of like breaks out into a smile and say, man, this must have been a really tough one for y'all because y'all just do not have a sense of humor right now.
Good to see you too, Scout. Fucking shit.
Midnight, for your part, you notice that Naira is leaning very heavily on Valko and Uther's arm as they enter.
He'll rush up to his sister and kind of give like Lorium a little like what the fuck slap. Like, Dreamer, are you alright?
I'm fine, just a little tuckered.
Something to do with magic.
Oh. Okay. So, what's up?
Did you... Were you successful?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, like, the full picture of it, but, everything we were trying to do, or at least what I was a part of, seemed successful, and it looks like we made a bit of progress, and, you know, Lord Murdoch seemed really pleased with it, so that was a plus.
Excellent.
That felt weird to say, I'm sorry. But, you know, wait, hold on, I have a thing. Oh, no, yeah, keep going. Sorry. But I mean, were y'all able to make everything good here? I know they've been, you know, going back and forth, with Perona and Vanya, just talking about what would happen if the dwarfs accepted.
I think so. We... You know, favor for a favor.
And then he'll just look at you and go, is that what this is about?
Everybody gets an extra 100 gold, actually.
This is the bribe.
She's like, don't tell him.
No. How to disguise.
Ah. Nice.
Goodbye, old friend.
No! Why do we sell that? That was so clutch.
Is Lorium gonna wear it?
No, I can't.
That's what
Nobody
I thought.
has any attunement slots.
Wander does.
I do.
Wait, no, you just got 2 things that require attunement, and you had 1 more. That's 3.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows what's gonna happen in the future, right? Maybe I'll draw from the deck.
You want it back or no? I'll be back.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just sorting our shit here before we leave. Off into the mountains to the west.
Oh, right. And he'll kind of look over towards Wander for the bear dudes, right?
Yes.
I'm
Well,
excited
awesome.
to see space bears.
I mean, it sounds really interesting. And then he'll just kind of look around. Is the whole way going to be underground?
I think so. I think we're actually having to go up in the mountains. Did you see Lord Murdoch?
I'm just in passing, right? Like, I didn't. Nope, he took his headphones off.
Oh, sorry, no, I was doing something there.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, I only saw him in passing. Like, we didn't actually like talk.
Actually, you didn't see him in person. You exchanged several messages with him and did actually receive a sending from him, but you didn't get a chance to meet him in person in Perona, as he was apparently very deeply engaged in the negotiation process of the Stone Accords within Vanya.
I mean, I spoke to him like he does every once in a while through the send-ins, but not in person. He's been very busy with the negotiations and such.
See.
But I'm sure with him there in the negotiations, everything's going to be fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How is he?
He seemed really well. I mean, you know how he is when he gets to these sorts of things. Like, he's pretty enthusiastic. He's kind of taken charge in the whole negotiations thing. So, I mean, I would say he's in good spirits. He sounded like he was enjoying himself. I mean, he used a lot of big words, which usually when you use big words, that means you're happy. So I just kind of assumed the same for him.
Well, good then. I think we're just finishing up some business.
But you know, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you have any interest in a dwarven opera? I was hoping to.
She looks over at her. I was hoping to steal him away.
I mean, y'all go ahead and go to the opera if y'all like.
Yeah, you've never been to a dwarven opera? They're like the best.
I mean, y'all have traveled with him long enough at this point, and Naira will know it's not as bad as it used to be. Like his being in the underground tight spaces is not like they worked with him and stuff, but he still is uncomfortable just not being in open spaces. I mean, it sounds great. Actually, I was gonna see if maybe yeah.
I just wanted to make it clear, like, in the vast majority of the Dwarven City could not be considered a tight space. It is actually quite a large, like, cavernous structure. Not, not kind of obviously open air, but there are, in most places, the ceiling of certainly the main city cavern is easily over 100 feet away.
Yeah. Not like debilitating or anything. It's just like he'd rather not be here if we don't have to be. But we have
One
to
of
be,
those
so
that could fall in at any moment.
kind of things. No, but actually, if Sarge here didn't mind, I was hoping to get a little training in, and then he'll reach back into his quiver and pull out 3 arrows, and they're not great workmanship, but it's progressing. And he'll kind of present them to Lorium and say, I'm getting better at carving them, but still think I got a ways to go.
He'll inspect him. Does balance look right?
Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand. Midnight.
Can I roll my woodcarver's tools?
Yes, you may.
Yes. I don't know what this is gonna do, but I have them. I think. No, there they are. Above my thieves' tools.
Still at 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're like they'll fly. They're not the nicest that you've ever seen, but they're straight and true. The fletching is attached reasonably well and straight. The head is seated well. Yeah, they'll serve.
You'd expect like a random hunter in the forest to have these, like.
Mm. You can probably sell them to a fishmonger.
Damn.
You know, that's the first time he's ever said I could have sold one of these. Compliment.
You might get a fish.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you were right though. Like, making them myself, I kind of understand how to like identify good ones when I see them.
Well,
I'll keep at it.
it's a lot better than the toothpicks you were throwing at me earlier.
That's true.
Yeah, keep trying. And he'll like toss it towards the ground at his feet, hoping it'll stick, but then the hairline fracture that's within one of the shaft makes it just crumple. He's like, oh. Alright, so you're not going to be able to recover them, maybe.
Yeah, I tried that trick earlier. That's why I only have 3.
Keep on trying.
But and then he'll turn his attention.
Tips.
He'll turn his attention back to his sister and say, "But yeah, if y'all want to go see an opera, that would be y'all have fun." Unless was she trying to get me to go with her, or she wanted to just go with Uther?
Right, you, yeah. But I don't mind, whatever you would be entertained by.
Oh, I did take all those dwarven classes.
Everybody's obviously welcome to come. I just thought Uther might like to see the sights of it because he was so excited to be here.
High pitch screaming people will give me a headache.
Actually, it's pretty low, if I remember correctly.
I've heard guttural, but I've also heard a dwarf sing high pitch. It was off-putting. What the hell did you just say, Uther? I think there was a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, wait, you know what that is? I mean,
You're like cutting out really bad.
less screechy than you'd think. Well, then let me try and fix it. The Matrix.
I think you said it's a lot less screechy than
Yeah.
I think. It could be fun.
Maybe.
Perhaps we could convince
sound-
our Sky Daddy to perform an opera for us. Wouldn't that be fun?
It's actually just like
Slowly look back at the camera.
it's like Tibetan monks throat singing.
I have suddenly decided I have something else to do.
Like, wait, why does this sound angry opera? Why is there initiative?
And that's when Uther would just turn and be like, "This is why I love dwarven operas."
It's just a bar.
Drums of war.
What does he mean go for blue team? Should I go for red team?
Red versus blue. Where's Caboose?
I mean, you would actually know that it is not unheard of, particularly in historical operas, for there to be a large portion of the groundling area that is set aside for descendants of any clans that are mentioned in the opera to more actively participate than you might otherwise expect an audience to do so.
We should have that in real life.
Everybody's
We're gonna go
acapella.
see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Is that what I just heard?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Speak of the Dead Stones. My family's really good at doing heroic shit or really pissing people off, so we get to be in a lot of plays.
But that's just my plan. See the sights. See whatever, basically, obviously, whatever Uther wants to do, but whatever anybody catches anyone's interest. As long as I don't have to get off the dire wolf for too long. I'm yeah.
Wander would actually
Okay.
suggest going to the forges.
Yes.
You will need to be a great deal more specific.
Yeah. It's yeah, that makes sense. Just let's see. I had to load back into the map because I was on the coast map. Because this entire area, like over here,
This whole
was
portion
forges, right?
is like dedicated to various forge and crafting houses, and actually there's in the walls of the cavern there are great air channels that are whose entire function is to blow away the smoke of all the forge fires and funnel it out of the city proper. But there are small forges and workshops and things like that throughout much of the city. That's mostly the kind of heavy industry area. But throughout the city, there are guild houses that will all have their own forges and workshops and the like.
Are there any that seem grander than the others?
Yes, there is a very active competition for all of them to look grander than the others, and some of them succeed better than most.
Then I suppose he'd suggest that we walk through there, and he'll just pick one that takes his fancy. At some point,
Okay.
whenever we get to that.
Well, I mean, the afternoon has worn on into evening. By evening, I mean it's probably about 6 o'clock. So if you did wish to kind of go out and take in a sort of diversion, this would be a good time for it. With regards to the forges and the like, most of them operate essentially 24 hours a day. So they would also be there would certainly be people present at almost any major guild house. So yeah, what is everybody doing with their evening?
As we go about town, Midnight is just stopping every once in a while and checking out like carts and stuff and like seeing what everybody does. But he's also in Dwarven letting people know that Lorium is here in town looking for a spouse, and he just starts planting that out into the world.
He's going to beat
And I want to see how many people come up to him.
Midnight, give me a persuasion or deception check, and Lorium, give me an insight check with advantage, because you are not only giving an insight to Midnight, you are giving an insight to the dwarves who are responding to him.
I am speaking in Dwarven. Does that help? Like, he doesn't speak that.
I don't know.
It does. No, yes. No, I am aware.
So would I get advantage on my persuasion?
No, because
roll?
your check is on the dwarves.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Yes!
Oh boy.
So, Lorium, you are watching Midnight go around and engage very actively in conversations with many of the storekeeps and the like as you go. And they all seem to, like, you do notice that after he speaks with them, They do pretty much all of them do kind of look up at you and kind of give you a curious once-over. It's hard to get more of a read than that as to what's going on, but you are noticing a pretty universal pattern there of, as he discusses apparently a purchase of some good or service from their stall, their attention shifts to you as the conversation moves on.
Noticing this pattern. Are you telling him to sell me some, or what are you telling him?
Oh, I've been trying to figure out if they like make armor large enough to fit you.
He's gonna look. Any armor shops? Has there been
Liam?
like a yeah?
Roll me before you respond. Roll me a percentile dice.
A percentile dice. Okay.
He's talking to a melon seller about armor.
Exactly.
Oh my god. 9.
Okay. The dwarf does not respond to this portion of the conversation, but what were you going to say?
Divine intervention would have worked.
You're a good cleric.
He was just going to look at some of the shops that we happen to be going on around and equating. Are the shops that people he talked to, were they selling armors at all? And if so, has there been a pattern of like only dwarf-sized armors, or have there been plenty of obvious full-size armors?
He has been talking to all manner of people about that. Some of them have had armor-like objects around, but because this has just kind of been as you've been going along, you haven't actually gone into any guild houses or forges that would actually have armor available.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't even need to roll to know that.
I'm just gonna. No, he can't hold in his laughter. He just starts busting out, like, hysterical laughter.
Is this another prank?
Well, it's been so long.
See, as his eye focuses on you, a little of the like purple embers starts emanating around him in very small quantities. And what did you say?
I said, well, it's been so long, Sarge.
Wander.
Hmm?
Is there something on my back?
No.
He'll look back to midnight, and you see those little embers just sort of fade away as he was about to punch you with an extra D8 of damage.
He'll just give you a smile and start catching up with the rest of the group, and then over his shoulder, just say, "I don't know. I thought I found you a couple good spouses."
I'm not on the market.
You could have been. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna sell him away. He just says to Wander.
So, Wander, what kind of guild, like, as I said, there, especially as you get further and further, this area next to Indmindal is devoted primarily to commerce itself, and so there are a lot of very impressive storefronts there showing their wares and the like, but you know from the previous times you've spent here that the manufacturing of most of those goods happens in various other workshops and the guild houses themselves, which are scattered out throughout the rest of the east of the main city cavern. What kind of place are you looking for?
He is mainly looking for a place that, A, has a forge, right? But B, I guess specializes in the crafting of ornate weapons.
Okay.
Like specifically something, uh, quote unquote prettier than a sword with a handle.
Fair enough. Yeah. Looking for something that is particularly like specializes in like not necessarily
Something with-
trophy weaponry, but
It's still
Um,
functional.
yeah, but individual items rather than things that would be mass produced. Artistry over capacity.
So yeah, like a smith place a smithy that wouldn't be either off-put or concerned in any way about me being like, hey, can I use your forge to carve my weapon real quick? Can I just spend a couple hours doing that?
Okay. Let me think.
Because if not, he will straight up just go to whatever the closest forge is and be like, hey, please.
Yeah, like you would know that basically for them to allow a non-guild member to utilize their facilities would be not necessarily a breach of protocol, but would be considered like unusual or kind of a mark of honor toward you. So there would be a measure of kind of requirement and discussion and persuasion around it. But yeah, certainly if Uther is offering to have that discussion on your behalf, it is very smooth sailing. You are able to, Uther is able to invoke various old names, not least of which is the Deadstone clan, discuss your guys' status as preferred guests of Gazbarak Thor.
And complimentary, like, oh, and I had to bring him here, the finest forges in all the land. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course you came here. We are the best at this. Look at that thing. Of course you want to use it. That kind of thing.
And so, yes, I will say with that kind of support, you are absolutely able to secure yourself a position or like a kind of workstation, essentially, at one of these places. And you are actually surrounded quite quickly by some very curious dwarven smiths and workers yourself, as they are kind of very curious to see what this strange guest is going to be working on to achieve.
No pressure or anything.
Why would I be worried? I'm better.
I'm built different.
You sound just like Naira.
Hey, maybe I'm a wizard.
Cleric.
I have 2 siblings.
No, warlock.
I'm a monk.
I'm confused. But yeah, he's just gonna, assuming that, no, we don't have to stick around for this. He's just gonna spend 2 hours mainly just getting as close to the heat as possible, fanning the forge as much as he can. Just trying to get the forge hot. And then he's gonna use Channel Divinity to make his own kind of, like, if you've ever seen like Shadow of Mordor, like the Celebrimbor hammer and stuff like that. He's going to use Channel Divinity to make those so that he can carve 2 symbols into his maze on either side of the... I guess with the way that it looks on either side of the handle.
Okay. Well, as I said, the head itself is made of kind of a lattice work of strips of metal bound around the flame inside. So there are certainly places on the lattice work where you could carve them and things like that. Or, yeah, you could do it on the handle itself if you prefer.
Which space would have room for a larger symbol?
Most likely on the head.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, then on either side of the end of the mace.
Okay. What symbols?
The first one will be a shield with the symbol of the triad on it. And then the second one will be a sword, a flaming one.
Okay. The audience that had initially gathered to work as you make the forge hotter and hotter, and as the nature of the work that you will be undertaking grows clearer and clearer, so too does your audience grow and grow. all of them seemingly equally fascinated by the subject that you will be working on, Flamebearer, and the methodology of your work. You hear conversations happening around you in Dwarven, some of which seem impressed, many of which are very hard to decipher given the gruffness of their voices behind the roaring of the forge, but over time you are able to complete your work, yes.
Cool.
In the meantime, Naira, Uther, are you guys heading to the opera?
Yeah, I do want to ask about some other things that I definitely want to pick up, because I don't know that we actually bought anything.
No, but we can kind of like anything that you had wanted from the vault in terms of like items, magic items and stuff like that would have been basically you would have been told that they would retrieve it from the vaults for you and that you could come back tomorrow to pick it up. So you when you head back there tomorrow to gather what was promised to Wander by Varanor, you could. I'll also say that you can just kind of say, yeah, we ordered all of this the night before.
Okie dokie. Let's go take in the science.
Okay.
After dropping Wander off at the forge, being like, yeah, this is going to take a little while. I'm just going to leave you as all the dwarves start to kind of surround him and watch. Yeah, it's too warm. Time to go somewhere fun. And then make his way cutting across town and try and do the very kind of dwarven experience. Be like, oh, we're going in here. Okay. You know, like walk in and order the specific dwarven beer from this place with a dwarven wiener schnitzel, and then be like, okay, thank you. And then walk out and then go to a different, and then, you know what I mean? Just to be as dwarven as I can for a little bit. And go to one of the dwarven finery stores, and then grab, try and find a good dwarven tobacco store and some whiskey just on the way out. not the swill I'm used to.
Oh, actually, Uther, you don't need to do that. I bought you a gift.
Oh no.
And she will produce the finest dwarven whiskey that's in Carrick Axor, and either pipe with some tobacco. And she also got you like a set of basically sipping glasses as well. And she was like, I thought you meant like some souvenirs.
How did you... As he paused, taking it, as he... Ooh. And it is a dark stone 75. This is a very good whiskey. Most people think it just tastes like brown sugar and ashes, but I think it's something wondrous.
You like it? She's delighted.
Yes, as he grabs her and gives her a tight hug. And that's even a pretty handsome-looking pipe. I'm normally partial to cigarettes, but I feel like the quality of them has been going down. I was much used to a different type of tobacco, I think. Everything here is a bit sweeter.
But yes, it is a very finely wrought pipe, the inner stem of stone, so as to have no danger of spoiling the taste of the pouch of Utgarder Deep Delve tobacco, the finest mushroom smoke available in Karak Agzor.
Smile, take it, put it up, take a bite down onto it as he says, wondrous. We should see our way to the opera.
Lorium definitely stayed back with Wander to watch forge process. Because he'd rather watch things being forged than watch an opera.
You're
Midnight.
lost, my dude.
Midnight went with his family, and in fact, as Uther was running around, he just like leaned over to Naira and was just like, "He's just like a kitten in a pastry shop."
It's wonderful, isn't it?
I know. Like, I kind of get it now. Like seeing him this excited.
I know he prefers cigarettes, but I thought he might like something he could keep.
Oh, that was a very good choice. Very good choice.
Oh, in here they got dwarvish tea. We're making a stop.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. And there's always that moment where we have to say, no. This is a this is our seeing eye dog. Please let it in.
And so you are treated to the wonderful sensation of dwarvish tea, which on the surface is called infused vodka, but provides a wonderful preparation for the sterling performance that you see, the 4-hour rendition of the Anvil of Unity, which tells the story of the founding of Gerdak, where the first dwarven king took dueled individual clan leaders for the right to strip beard rings that commemorated unbreakable grudges from them and break them upon the anvil in an act that was then used, the broken shards of which were used to forge the throne of Gerdak. As each clan, each of the grudges that were broken is retold, the ring in the center before the stage and the balconies is filled with the descendants of those original clans disputing the particulars of the grudge as these songs go on, and you get the feeling that Lorem actually would have quite enjoyed the whole affair, as several are stretchered off as the scenes progress and the songs redouble in, as I said, a cavern that has been lovingly and very precisely and scientifically shaped over generations for maximum acoustic bravada. But in your various ways, you are all able to spend the night relaxing and gaining and kind of enjoying a evening of fairly innocent and safe diversion, a welcome change from the stresses of your recent ventures. Each in your own time, you make your way back to Indmindal, some later than others, but it being the nature of it means that you, regardless of what time or condition you come through the door, you are made welcome and escorted back up to your rooms. Is there anything further that you guys wish to do before we get to the following day?
Nope, other than I definitely had to pay some, the rickshaw people to carry me and Naira back as we just kept drinking dwarven tea.
Fair enough. So thoroughly relaxed, you begin your mornings, in some cases with minor healing spells to clear various hangovers. You are, I assume you have also informed the guards that accompanied you in the tribute wagons here, the rest of the delegation, essentially, of your intent to leave town?
Yes, I was planning on speaking with them in the morning before we left.
Fair enough. Okay. Do you have anything in particular that you want to say, or should we just kind of yada yada that?
I would just go and find the kind of the captain, so to say, the person who's running the group, and just go, so, do you have anyone that I'm going to have to kill, or have you guys been enjoying yourselves like gentlemen? I hope you have.
But of course, no, with the honor of the plains is at stake, and we have behaved as though this were the case. I can assure you that my men will do nothing to disgrace themselves.
Wondrous. Well, we have been called to some necessary other things, but I believe that it is soon and currently in hands of the Dwarven Councils. With that, I will be needed elsewhere for some short time, going to some type of crazy magical study library, trying to figure out, how to save the world. So we'll just let you know anything that happens when we come back. But just well done. Do you need anything before I go?
Very good. No, sir. I believe that we have things well in hand. I have a number of couriers, and our horses are ready should any messages need to be sent to the plains. But other than that, bon voyage and bon chance with your strange magical saving the world thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate having some good luck. You're in charge, and if anybody dishonors us, enough that it might start some type of grudge, instead of the burden of me killing them, the burden's on you now. So just make sure they know. And then, we'll see you in about a week. Hopefully, the chords come through. And I just give him a salute. Wow.
Very good, Monseigneur. We shall await your return. Okay. Returning back to Gazbarak Thor, what specifically were items that you would have sought in preparation, or as well as anything else, any other kind of menial goods or mundane goods, I should say, that you would have wanted from other providers?
How long is the
Lemon gear.
journey, do you think?
A week or so. Yeah.
Well, it is 120 miles, kind of as the crow flies, to Karsbarazad. However, it would be through, if you tried to go straight, you would just be straight up mountaineering that whole way. So what you would probably want to do is come down out of Karak Agzor back down to the plains, go along the southern edge of the Agranon Peaks, and then climb back up the southern slope of of the mountain that contains the Celestial Observatory, which you know to be Mount Solivitar. Or, hang on. Solvitra. So, depending on exactly how far you were, how quickly you were able to make that journey, it would likely be, so, again, probably a day or two from Karak Agzor back down to the plains, and then potentially a week of travel to the foot of the mountain, climbing the mountain, whatever you wanted to get up to in there, and then the trip back. So probably maybe a 2-week trip there and potentially the same back.
So a 2-week trip there?
Give or take, depending on how quickly you're able to get up the mountain and things like that.
Okay.
Skill checkums. Which means we definitely need food.
Mhm.
Yes. Although we can probably those of us with survival anyway. I'm volunteering you guys for work because I don't have that.
You mean Wander and me?
Midnight?
Wait, Midnight does too? Yes.
Yeah. I'm still a rogue scout, so I've got all that stuff. I just don't I can't magically get us through difficult terrain anymore.
Which is nice, because I'll be able to copy over so many spells.
Mhm.
So you choose not to buy food. I still have 6 days of ration, so you can starve.
Oh,
No, I
and
definitely-
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
one more quick note, by the way. Given that you didn't get into any combat encounters on the way back, and that even though you were kind of going around and doing things, it did just count as essentially a day of rest. Naira, you are feeling much better.
Yay!
Hey. Also, the evening before before I went to bed, I would want to grab a familiar, and we'll just keep it simple for now. And I guess an owl.
Okay.
I can't do it yet.
Woo!
Yeah, usually I can do it. Tyler knows I do it in our game all the time because I have a pet owl.
Woo!
It just cheers you on the entire time. Woo! Do something cool.
Woo!
Hype man owl familiar, let's go.
Does my Fey tunic turn into cold weather gear, or do I need to get extra special stuff?
It would, yeah. It would serve as kind of standard cold weather gear. Yeah.
Oh,
See.
but should the rest of us get cold weather gear?
I mean, you are going to be climbing a mountain, so you tell me.
I would like to get cold weather gear.
Will me being resistant to cold help?
Does Flame
Yes,
Bear negate any of
definitely.
that?
Say again.
Sorry, does Flame Bear negate any of that?
Given the recent developments with it, what's your passive religion using your wisdom?
I believe it's 15 because I don't think I'm proficient in it. Let me open the sheet.
We got the same proficiency mod, let's go!
It's 15.
15. Okay. I would say, given your kind of familiarity with it and your reflection on it, you do believe that it would provide some measure of protection from certainly cold, or kind of mundane cold.
Hmm. That's an ominous way of putting that.
Naira's still gonna get some nice, gloves and a warm wrap. Nice, handsome stuff for.
The plate armor is lined with leather, just for the comfort, right?
Correct. You would need to get like additional specific cold weather gear if you wanted it that you could wear with the armor.
He does have his thick ass cloak. I don't know if that'll help. And then I never do it, but I could. I could change Devil's Bane to be fire to emanate some heat. But again, you saying mundane cold makes it sound ominous.
Sorry, cat. My cat is on the book. There we go. So your cloak, was it specifically like something that you purchased for?
Extremely early on, it was just a flavor thing. It wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't any sort of like.
You could have, yeah. I mean, you could get it basically lined with some very rich fur quite easily, or basically, yeah, purchase a lining for it, which would function as cold weather gear. Some glove covers for your gauntlet, some fur covers for your gauntlets and the like. That stuff would be available here certainly. So yeah, you could get cold weather gear essentially that would function with your armor. Let me just 2 minutes. Yeah.
Oh my god, do they have a carpet of flying, and how much would it cost?
Carpet of Flying does have a cap on how much it can carry, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
That would.
But Naira on the carpet, she could copy over spells while traveling.
Yes.
You can do that in your
Valko.
cart too.
Let's
Valko.
see. Let me
Mhm.
do a real quick check of how
Oh,
much-
true. Yeah. I didn't think about Valko.
Lorium with base weight and all of his equipment on him is
That's a great.
450 pounds.
There's at least one that has an 800-pound capacity.
Climber's kit, there it is. Okay, so that will be 50. That's the 20. And then
different
Rasha.
sizes.
Okay.
You would need a third tier carpet to even have just Lorium alone on it. Oh no.
So that'll be 50, 70, 14 times 5.
But no joke, I would love to be able to sit more and copy the spells.
Look, there's a reason why Nuri stayed inside the mimic the whole time.
Totem. I miss
I'm-
Totem.
Me too. Every time I think about him, I just set off a piece of paper to the side for him.
Well, I mean, you guys do have your cart that you brought with you. While it certainly would not get you all the way, it would be sufficient to get you. Like there are, you would not be in complete wilderness for at least the majority of the trip, in terms of distance. But okay, so
If those are quick mods, I would like to pay his own money just to get those little modifications ready.
okay. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's fairly mundane. Kind of gear, like much of it is stuff that is pretty much off the rack. They would just need to kind of tighten it up in a few places, let it out in some others. But yeah, like 10 gold will get you essentially cold weather gear that will function with your sort of cold weather enhancements, shall we say, for your plate armor.
Roger.
Oh, how much for just like some cold weather gear?
10 gold.
10 gold? Okay. And how much is that again? I was listening, I promise. But how much was that again?
10 gold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That my brain. Cool, cool,
Add
cool.
all the gold that we got from today or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Add all written down.
On your return to Gazbarak Thor, in addition to any mundane stuff that you wish to pick up, you, Wander, are the Vault Master explains that Baranor made him aware of your request and presents you with a small stone plaque formed kind of like a cartouche, if you know what one. So it's a small kind of oval, inlaid with symbols in Dwarven, which Uther and Midnight and Naira, if she has her comprehend languages up, will recognize as essentially a kind of invocation to Moradin. Kind of like a sort of the equivalent of kind of like a Catholic icon that they might put up in a workshop or something like that to invoke Moradin's presence and blessing on the work done in that environment. This, he states, was taken during the withdrawal from Kars Barazad. It was not considered appropriate to allow a invocation to the All-Smith to be left behind. However, it was, as is tradition, carved from the stone of that place during the foundation of the first workspace.
Can I take it?
Of course. Baranor's instructions, Archivist Baranor's instruction was that it was to be provided to you. And he presents it to you.
He'll nod and reach for it. Yoinks.
Okay.
I will add Stone Tablet of Awesomeness to my gear. And then I'll thank you. And turn to head out.
Okay. Potions of climbing. Yes, they do have such items available. They are, however, a little bit pricey at 150 gold pieces per.
That's okay. We have 4,417 right now in party funds.
Mhm.
Uther, you think you can sweet talk somebody for me?
Absolutely.
I'll help with my.
Okay. How many are you looking to purchase?
Two of us already have a climbing speed, so that means 3 others would need them, and I'd want to do redundant, so at least 9, if not 12. Bulk
Okay.
discount.
That's essentially what, that's going to influence the DC. But Uther, please go ahead and roll me a persuasion check with advantage. $27. Okay. With a 27, and considering your status as honored guests of Gazbarak Thor, and not least the amount that you are attempting to take, he will be willing to provide you with 12 potions for the price of 120 each, or a price of 125 each should you choose to take 9.
Okay.
He is, with a 27, he is apologetic that is the best that he is able to offer. However, the components and creation process is such that there is a minimum which honor demands he does not stray beneath.
Of course. 9, you guys sound good?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Certainly.
How long does it last?
1 hour.
Yeah, 9 sounds good.
Hmm.
Last 1 minute. You better not fall.
Please do not fall. Okay. So that's 11:25.
Hey, puppy. Hachi says hello.
Hi, puppy.
Hachi.
So now we have 3292 in party funds. And you each, the 3 of you without a climb speed, now have
You can
3
be every
potions.
time speed, we can. That's it. You lost your right to fancy feast.
Do you still have that rope of climbing?
Oh yeah.
Me?
Yeah,
Me?
you had the funny rope.
No.
No.
Unless you think Naira still would have given it to him in this timeline.
Probably.
Do you? Is that cool? Okay, yeah, I still
Yeah.
got the funny rope.
Yeah, if Naira would still find that, as an appropriate gift, then he still has the funny rope.
Didn't you call it the hilarious rope?
Yeah, because that's what Tyler kept calling it, the funny rope.
So that'll be good.
Yes. Unfortunately, they do not have such a thing as a flying carpet. Their kind of focus on levitation and flying enchantments is focused on the battle barges that are constructed for the Stone Centurions. Those, unfortunately, are not for sale.
But I want one.
It's like, we're stealing one! New campaign!
Let's go!
Winged boots.
Spelljammer confirmed. Let's go.
Yes. Should we get any like extra healing potions?
I got one.
I have one.
I think I have 2 regular now.
I have a greater, I think.
Yeah, I just have 2 regular.
They do also, do you mention basically what kind of journey you are preparing for?
Yes.
The Vault Master will have also mentioned then, they do have, obviously, the dwarves themselves have a presence throughout the mountains, both above and below. Unfortunately, no longer that far out, but they do have several items that are uniquely suited to allowing exploration in harsh environments. These ranged from the more extravagant boots of the Winterlands. They also have a selection of rings of warmth. And for explorers who are simply seeking a level of comfort in certain climes, they also have what are known as hearthstones, which provide immunity to, essentially when held, they provide the holder with immunity to temperatures down to sub-freezing. And upon speaking a command word, will burst into flame, providing warmth and illumination as if they were a campfire. Though the flame is mundane, even if the source is magical, and so extreme weather will extinguish that fire rather quickly. But if any of those are of interest to anyone, let me know and I can give you a price.
I mean, I've got Firebolt. Can I light things on fire with that?
I mean, yes, absolutely. That's kind of what it's for. It depends on what you are.
People.
Like,
It depends on what you're intending to do with it.
and do we still have the immovable rods?
Yes.
Yep.
2 of them?
Yes.
Awesome.
Wander has one, I have one.
Did we go back and get the one back from the gate?
Oh, you know what?
Good point.
Wait, one from
Then,
the
do we have an immovable rod? Is there an immovable rod we can pick up?
Yes, they would certainly have such a thing. They are relatively commonly used in dwarven construction and the like, and they will be happy to provide one to such honored guests for... Oh. They are, unfortunately, actually rather pricey items, and they would estimate that they will be able to provide. They would be able to provide you one from their stores for 1,100 gold pieces.
Okay. Hear me out. First of all, does everybody want a second one? So, if absolutely necessary, we have a makeshift ladder.
Well, yeah, and I think because of the whole gate situation, having more than one is super useful.
Okay, so hear me out. How about 1,092?
You're trying to perfect a number, aren't you?
Certainly, yeah.
And now we have 2,200, and I feel better.
Do either you or Wander know polymorph?
I do.
Okay, good. Perfect. I was just trying to think if we had to do some like serious climbing, it might be good to like polymorph Valko into something carryable.
Well, thinking about that, like, we're going to be able to get close to the area, but we've got, like, horses and stuff, right?
Also, you know what's funny? You know what's really fucking funny?
Hmm.
At Valko's CR, you could polymorph him into a giant eagle.
That's beautiful.
And he'd be smarter.
You would know, like, though the mountain itself would be obviously like highly, like there is completely uninhabited. The foothills and the kind of northern wilderness, if you like, of Avignosera is home to scattered villages and stuff like that. You imagine it would be possible to take your horses in the cart the majority of the way, and then find essentially stabling for them at some point.
Essentially, also stable Valko, right?
If you could find somebody willing to stable a dire wolf, yes.
Valko is a good boy.
And if they could be appropriately persuaded of that, then they would likely be willing.
And it won't get into the foothills aren't the cold that we're worried about. It would be like up into the mountains. Yeah.
Once you started approaching the snow line, that's where it would be. It's the snow line.
Yeah, I was making sure we didn't need to buy warm shit for the horses.
It is also high summer right now, so it is also warmer than it would otherwise be. So certainly, in the foothills, you wouldn't be worried about inclement. Well, I mean, anything more than regularly inclement weather. Certainly nothing that would be overtly dangerous. But despite it being summer, you would certainly expect that as you climbed up, to and above the snow line, that yes, there would be inclemency.
Nice. No, I'm trying to go through as many scenarios in my head as I can.
I think that's it for me.
Okay. Anybody else have a wish to request anything or buy any other kind of mundane goods while you're here? As I said, you'd estimate that the journey there would take the journey to the location of the Celestial Observatory, depending on how tough the ascent of the mountain itself is, would potentially be about 2 weeks there.
I just thought of something, and I figure if there's a place to do it, it's here. So if I were to want to enhance the enchantment on my shield, where would I do that? I asked Uther.
Upgrade the enchantment. That foundry might be able to help you.
Essentially, one of the guild houses in conjunction with Gazbarak Thor would absolutely be able to do so, but that is a process that would take a number of days.
I'm willing to leave it here.
Okay. Then
find out how much that costs.
Yes, one moment.
I don't think I can afford it, but I mean,
I'm right there with you. I also want to fucking upgrade my armor, but I have to leave my armor.
So, given that you will be providing an existing enchanted shield, it would be significantly less.
Nice.
It will be significantly less than it would otherwise be. And also, given that you have just donated a great deal of magical components and the like of precisely the type that would be required to enhance an enchantment, that they will also take that into consideration. And essentially, this is something that we're kind of going to just retcon a little bit and say that they would be able to sort of take into account when the negotiation process. 3,500. One moment. But for actually 1,500 gold, and certainly given the extent of the journey that you expect to be gone for, perhaps up to a month, they would certainly expect to have your shield fully enhanced by the time you returned.
Okay, I cannot afford that, so
I can spot
we're
you.
gonna move on.
How
I
much?
will not be spotted.
Well, party funds.
Because we would have
You
to.
use-
It's not that important.
We would have to learn that pricing from somebody up front at a
That would be
you
something
ask.
that,
Yeah,
like
that doesn't have to be
the
carried
vault master, would basically bring in an enchanter, a founder enchanter, or foundry enchanter, who would have this discussion very openly, probably with, with Wander.
Yeah, I just didn't think to ask at the time because I'm a moron.
But yeah, like it certainly would be an open discussion unless Wander specifically asked for privacy.
No. But after he says that price, he'll go, oh, okay, and then that's that.
Well, Wander, you use your shield to protect the party. I think that should come out of party funds, no? And she's looking around at everyone else.
It's okay.
Andy, you can use mine while we're out.
No.
Are you sure? I'd be willing to throw money in on that.
It is okay.
But I
Thank
want you to do be better than okay.
His shoulders shrink just a little bit, and he goes, "Me too."
Owie.
Wander, I will respect what you want, but could you help me understand why you don't want the party's help?
It is not that important.
I think it's very important. You keep us all safe. We want you to be
Please.
safe.
Really, it's fine.
Okay, if that's what you want.
He nods.
Is there any other gear that you would desire an additional enchantment or enhancement upon?
No, I'm actually gonna look at my inventory.
Any chance I could beef up my bracers of defense?
What level are they at right now?
I don't know that they come in levels.
Yeah, they're just base items.
Oh, okay.
And they do a +2 at the moment.
+2, okay. Let me see.
I will be honest, I was expecting you to say no outright because they don't have a level. Just so you know, there's no pressure to say yes.
Yeah, let me just quickly look something up.
He's like 5,000 gold.
I mean, it's gonna be pricey. But
While we figure things out, I'm going to go take the pup out and help May with some groceries because she went shopping while I was gone.
well, yeah. Why don't we take a quick break then? Everybody can refresh their drinks and the like, and I shall have an answer once I am back. I also saw your messaged question. I will have an answer for that too.
Roger, be back in a bit.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get a fresh drink as well. I will be right back.
Hi, Beck.
Welcome back.
Thank you. What, miss?
Nothing. We took break.
Did he come up with a price?
$1 million.
Yes. We have to sell Lorium's left horn for science.
No.
That's kind of what we figured too.
No. We can turn it into a dagger. But he won't sell it.
We'll just make it... Oh, what if we used it and put it on the end of the glaive?
It breaks again.
I have returned.
Welcome back!
How much money do I?
No, not that. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. I don't know what it is about the dice creation in this. I can sit there like longer than I do in character creation for like a game.
And try and find the perfect die.
Yeah, I was like, oh, things have changed. Let me see what I can make the dice look like.
Nope. If you hear a squeaky toy in the background, I'm sorry.
No, it's a,
Hachi's having
I can
a
hear
great old time.
Hachi
yeah,
having a
it's
great
so
old
cute.
time.
Every time I heard it, I was like, yeah, get it, kill it, get it.
See, we flat out can't get those for our dogs because one of them just has like a freaking macerator where his mouth will be, and we've never bought him a toy that lasted more than 10 minutes.
Oh,
We had someone at the dog park recommend a toy saying it was literally undestroyable. Like, swore up and down that she had a dog that had the same proclivities, and no dog would ever be able to get through this at all, ever. We bought it for him. It lasted less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. He just tore, like, effortlessly tore it apart.
I would not want to get hit by that dog's lockjaw.
The thing is, he's a total coward with it too. Like he looks like such a big butch, beware of dog kind of dog, and he's just this sweetest little kind of
Biggest
like
couch potato puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Oh yeah.
he would leave me to die 100%. We were outside and he got scared by a firework. Just ditched me. I was like, fucker.
Like he started really pulling at the lead, like we gotta get home, and so I was like, okay, fine, you know, and I let him kind of pull me into a jog and stuff, and he just took off, left her behind, and just didn't even look back.
Is this the same one who
I
climbs in the
myself
chair with you?
They both climb in the chair with me.
You walk into the house too. He's like,
yes.
"Oh, good, you're here too, Mom."
Oh yeah, he was all pleased when she actually then did arrive back after him. But until he got through the door, he was like, just like nothing exists except the need to get home.
The need for speed.
Yeah, we got Hachi a toy that's. It is indestructible. It's literally just solid, like, thick rubber. Just like a big, thick rubber bone.
Oh, like a Kong toy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can't let him have that while we're trying to sleep in the room because you'll be starting to fall fast asleep and just boom on the floor. It's like, God damn it. It's like, how are you so small, but you throw that thing around so viciously?
God, we got ours weighed the other day at the vet. He's 73 pounds.
Jeez.
Hell yeah.
Hachi's only
a
27
lot of puppy.
pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The small one is 68.
Yeah.
The small one.
Big boy.
That's
They
so
both like
cute,
to-
though.
They both like to curl up in my lap at the same time. That is my life. And I say that like it's a problem. It's not. I can stop.
Like, this is cultivated behavior, yeah. Like,
But I feel like we're
you guys ready? Yeah, is everybody back? Are we all ready to rock and roll?
Oh,
Or are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah?
Tyler?
Is Tyler?
Yeah.
Hey! Okay.
it's okay, guys, because the journey is going to be completely uneventful. Nothing's going to happen. We're gonna get straight there. I just...
And
Is this the map? Did I just break it?
what?
Oh, I tabbed
I
back
mean,
into Carrick Axor, and it's a bunch of orbs. You'll see on the recording. It is weird.
You're probably just
Okay.
seeing the light sources.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably what it is.
yeah, possibly the vision is all messed up. Oh, yeah, if you select the party token, it should fix. Which is down here by in the Mindal.
Oh, I see it. That's not doing nothing for me, but I'm going back to Hoash and Coast. I'll see you all later.
Okay. Well, so the following day, you do spend your morning acquiring whatever supplies you feel that you need. As I said, given your discussions with Baranor and anyone else whom you discuss the journey with, and your own kind of awareness, certainly Naira's awareness of the geography of northern Navignosera and the Agnanon Peaks themselves, you estimate that the journey will take in the region of 2 weeks, depending on how difficult the ascent to up the slopes of Mount Solvitra itself is. And that's 2 weeks out, plus 2 weeks back. You are able to, conclude the rest of your business fairly quickly. And so by, I would say, early afternoon, if you are all ready, you can begin making your way out of Karak Abzor.
Yes.
Yeah.
You all ready to go?
Better.
Yes.
Yay!
I got my warm stuff. I'm ready.
I got to see
Okay.
more of an opera.
Oh my gosh.
I hope there was just some throat singing going on at some point.
No, actually, Uther and Midnight are discussing it and talking about how, like, the people up in the balconies were, like, beating the shit out of each other over honor, and we're discussing it right by-
The people in the balconies would not be so uncouth as to do so. If you wish to beat the shit out of each other for honor, you do that in the ring,
which is in front of the stage.
which is in front of the stage, yeah.
He's like, you're lying.
No, they were... Go ahead.
Several people, I think, might have been hospitalized. It was really quite bracing.
Yeah, they had to like take them out in stretchers.
And anyone could jump in.
If it was a matter of honor, right, Uther?
Exactly. Matter of honor.
You can spin that tail any fucking way.
I mean, it would not be unheard of for a bystander to take up the cause of a clan if they felt it worthy.
Lorem takes
That's
a level
when-
of depression.
Oh, but speaking of, how did the forging go, buddy?
It's done. And he holds up the maze.
Oh, that's cool.
It will serve later. But now... And he'll just take that moment there to start casting Find the Path.
Okay.
Mm.
It is still so weird to me how similar that is. As he just gestures towards the flaming sword sigil and then his own.
So, Wander, as you channel this, you do get a. You are currently underground, still in the city of Caracagzor, or do you wait until you get above the surface before you
I'm
start
doing it
casting?
immediately. Like the
Fair enough.
second I have the opportunity to, just in case. I know there won't be, but just in case there's like, just turn around, jump into the waterfall, you'll be there in 10 minutes.
I mean, funnily enough, like the path that it guides you along in terms of the most direct route to the origin of the cartouche is actually toward one of the great rivers, one of the great canals that runs out of Caracagzor to the west. You know from your discussion with Baranor that this would be leading you to the Girdvaten, the Great Water. Or the Great Waterway, as it was called, which he did say was most likely the most direct route. However, would be the condition.
Like more dangerous.
Yeah, the condition of the route toward the end was not known, and it was specifically known that large portions of it were predated by orcs and trolls and other kind of subterranean nasties.
But it also
So
tells
you guys
me
have
how
made the
far
decision.
Sorry. So
Yes.
it also tells me how far the destination and where it is. So
Mm-hmm.
do I get a number on that, or?
Yes, like it basically confirms much of the discussion that you had with Baranor and with Naira, as she kind of referenced the landmarks and the celestial markings and things like that, and cross-referenced them to her map of the Harashan coast. It's about 120, 130 miles. Call it 125 miles as the crow flies from Caracagzor itself to Karl Barozad.
And that's going to keep like a running total, right? Like that's not just going to be...
Yeah, as long as you focus on it, you'll be able to kind of feel that, you know, the number in your head will kind of tick down as you approach. And as you recast it, it will update, yes.
Okay, cool.
You will, of course, need to like maintain concentration on it in order to have that. But yes, you will be able to sort of feel the path adjusting as you try, you know, kind of recalculating as you take your route.
I'm concentrating for the next 24 hours, and nothing will stop me. We will not be attacked.
I love that it says, but not necessarily the safest route. So glorious.
A part of me was afraid
well.
that you were going to be like, yeah, no, just go through the mountains and just climb directly up the mountain, like vertically 500 feet.
I mean, that may well be one of the routes it shows you.
But I mean, if you do it in a city, right? Let's say we're at the entrance of fucking I blanked. The Dwarven City. I'm having a strunk. Let's say we're at the entrance, and I'm trying to get to the Crucible. It's not going to point. It's not going to be like climb over this building, then climb over this building, then climb over this building.
Fair, yeah.
Go directly.
It
through
will
this
kind
wall.
of actually
Break it.
help you to navigate it. Yes. And I mean, in this case, like the sense that you get is that regardless of the path, there is no such thing as an easy route to Kars Barozal.
Yeah, that's fine. If it were easy, it wouldn't be fun.
But regardless, and so as your business here concluded, you retrieve your horses, retrieve your cart from the stabling of In Mindal. You're as honored guests of the Karak. Of course, there is no charge for your stay or for the stabling. You bid farewell to the captain of the guard, reminding him of his duty, and so leave Karak Agzor behind. You travel for a few hours on the broad and bustling underways of the rest of Gurdak. There's, though some in the city had become used to your presence, you do still, as you kind of leave the city gates itself and begin traveling along the underways, attract many curious stares from the other dwarves that pass you in the gloom. And after a few short hours, though, of your cart rolling smoothly across these very smoothly worked stone paths, you reach the paths that begin to take you upward. Over the next hour, you climb and climb steadily, the horses straining slightly, until suddenly, with an excited whinny, you turn a corner and they see ahead the glimmer of sunlight for the first time in weeks. Though the darkness itself has presented little barrier to any of you during your stay, and the air is even here chilled with altitude and the scent of distant snow, as the shape of the gate ahead draws closer, you swear you all feel a warmth entering your bones as you emerge once more onto the surface and see open sky above you. The pressure of stone and walls is released, and the horses prance happily as they trot out beneath a cloud-scudded sky, and you are once more in the open. You turn south again upon the old dwarven road, and as you do wander, you're focusing, you feel the path reforming and reshaping itself as it has been as you travel. And now it does present you with a number of paths, some of which go up through what you can tell are fairly treacherous passes of the mountains themselves, and others of at least one option of which also does lead you in much the direction that that Naira suggested during her study of the map, which is south, down the old trade roads that you recently traveled north along, and then west along the southern edge of the Agramon Peaks. You feel the distance, if not closing, the path clarifying. But you turn south upon the old dwarven road, moving past the watchful faces carved into the stone above on either side, and the nip of cold in the mountain air gradually lessens as you travel. By the evening, you have turned off the road. You spend a pleasant night camped in the mountain crags, and then the following day, without the cumbersome tribute wagons, travel is far easier as you find yourself back upon the broken and crooked passes that mark the disused trade routes between Gurdak and the plains. The passes themselves are still scarred and broken by rock falls and overgrown by vegetation and fallen trees, but these present little barrier to travelers as competent as you. Still, even despite the relatively wild environs, it presents a very pleasant return to a world that is, under the sun And the first couple of days pass fairly easily as you make your way back down from the foothills and onto the plains. You see ahead of you the familiar road that would, if you followed it, carry you back to Perona. But in this case, your journey does not carry you further south, and you must turn away from the route that carried you north.
Yeah.
Let's. Where is it?
As we were traveling, whenever we settled down for the night, one thing I want to do while we're on this trip, I get 4 uses of that the horn that only one person can hear. If I blow it, like they're the only one to hear it, and I want to, over the course of the trip, train Valko to when he hears that, he goes and he seeks out Naira.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a handle animal check. Won't be particularly hard, given Valko's willingness to learn.
Oh, well.
Valko is quite perplexed by the strangeness of the command. He's like, why don't just I know find. If you want me to find, tell me to find. What is this? And just seems a little perplexed at first.
And like I would at first I would get him to listen to it, and then I would take him further and further away from the camp and blow it, so because it can go up to 600 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna take a while.
You will have ample opportunity as the days wear on. 4. Very quickly after you make your way back out of the mountains proper, you do indeed turn west toward the distant prospect of Mount Solvitra and begin wending your way through the Aghanon foothills.
How many days is this specifically? I'm trying to figure out how much I was able to copy over.
You've just concluded. You turn into the foothills on at the start of your 3rd day of travel.
3rd day. Okay.
Well, technically 1.5 days, but because you left Karak Agzor kind of about noon on your first day.
How many days have passed? Is the strength thing gone now?
Yes, Naira is rested and recovered.
That one willow tree is really fucking with my perception of reality.
Which willow tree? Oh, that one?
My eye just picked it out. I was like, that. Pointing at the west. There's something behind the wall.
The roads here, though still traveled, are not what you have become used to calling roads. Certainly not what you would call a road in the Dwarven Kingdom, and are little more than trails through the wilderness. Still, your cart, robust as it is, and especially the fine mounts that you purchased, or the fine steeds that you purchased to pull it, are more than equal to the task of making relatively light of the rough terrain. But as you travel, it is very clear that this is the wild edge of the kingdom of Avignosera. You travel, and most of the landmarks are either natural or small, hardy frontier villages that make their existence from the timber of the slopes. It's clear that not many travelers venture to this area, and most of the settlements that you pass lack anything that could even be described as an inn, although there are taverns in abundance, each with a local speciality of mead or moonshine. But the further west you travel as the days pass, the more infrequent even these remote outposts become. In terms of how quickly you are able to make the journey, Midnight, you are how are you trying to kind of find the path? Is Midnight simply scouting ahead, or what are people doing?
Midnight would definitely scout ahead. I think every morning he would kind of go to his sister and consult with her her maps and stuff, and then go forth and kind of seek out.
Okay. Naira, then, if you want to roll me a cartography tools check, and then Midnight, roll me a survival check.
Can I help with the survival?
You certainly may. Riding forth on the sunshine to blaze the trail.
Huzzah.
I'm distracted by doing my.
You're copying yourself.
Double 13.
It's
As is tradition.
At least it's a good number.
However, despite the rugged terrain, Midnight is able to quite adeptly find the tracks that are most tracks and trails that are most suited to your wagon. And so, as you travel, the journey west is a lot smoother and faster than it might otherwise be, but is still, nonetheless, obviously, a journey that most would find a great deal of hardship in. The settlements that you pass very quickly become smaller and smaller and wilder. Palisades and hard-eyed bowmen begin to greet you rather than tavern keepers eager for coin. And they tell tales of dangerous wildlife that prowl the woods and come down from the peaks to prey on, well, anything that they can get their claws into. There is certainly some truth to these tales, as you discover on your journeys. And who would like to roll me a d6?
I'll do it.
Race you to it. Got it.
Well, funnily enough, I am going to need a couple of d6 rolls, so Naira, if you want to roll one as well.
I'll do one.
Okay. Okay.
I want to do it. No.
Cool.
We are
And you rolled a 24, so that will make it...
Sir.
I will actually need one more.
Okay, I got it.
Do it, Cole.
Hell yeah.
Fine. Okay.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
As you travel on, there are certainly, this is a wild and dangerous land. There are all kinds of dangers that to a lesser party would encompass an adventure in and of themselves, but to the Lions of the Harashan Coast present little enough of an obstacle. The first night, actually, or the first day that you travel, travel into through the foothills proper, a group of bandits hiding out after you presume a raid on a caravan to the south appears to mistake the Lions of the Harashan Coast for easy prey. Their ambush, though competently set by most standards, is easily spotted by the sharp-eyed wanderer and scout on his forays ahead before it is sprung. How do you guys choose to deal with it?
Now it depends.
That depends on what.
Does it look like they're stealing or killing?
Hard to say. They are certainly armed, capable of killing. You don't see any evidence of recent predation. This is a fairly wild stretch of road, so there's certainly no kind of signs of a recent or fresh ambush.
I've got an idea. Might not be a good one, but I've got one.
How far away did you say it was?
Oh, you spot them from a good ways away. You don't actually think they've seen you guys yet.
What's your great idea, honey?
Well, how far are they away? Give me in feet, like 1,000 feet.
I'd say,
500?
I mean, by the time that you kind of are able to say, that's where they are, about 500 feet. You could certainly get closer if you wished.
Why don't we just drop in the middle of their surprise and give them a hearty hello? I'm sure we would be rather mind-blown to have a sudden... I mean, you're very fast as he turns towards Scout. I think we could drop in, looking at Naira, and maybe get off a major image, some kind of grand illusion. I think they might soon realize that they have found themselves overmatched. Or we could walk into it knowing we're walking into an ambush just to really blow their minds.
I don't mind.
Do you want to be a corrections officer?
You know, I did that for a while. I thought it'd be a lot more fun than it was.
I think it might be fun to give them a little scare.
Depends what we find in the camp. If no one else is willing, I'll walk right into it.
Does that mean you want to jump to me into the middle of their ambush up at the top?
I just send him a quick message. Just say, hey, what are you doing?
What you doing? What you doing over there?
Just, I see you.
I mean, yeah, I'd be down to just jump right in.
Or not.
I wish
You know,
we
why
still
don't
had the
just
hat.
go and ask what they're doing? Are we afraid of things?
No.
No.
No, I wanted to make them afraid of me, though. But we can go say hello. If you just want to drive on the road like normal, and then when they start yelling at us and trying to, rob us and shit, then we can do stuff differently.
We just walk up to him like, I know you're trying to set an ambush, but can you tell me the best way into the mountains?
My
Lorium,
Discord first. We decide.
Lorium will start loosely wrapping. I can hear you.
Okay.
Lorium will start loosely
Barely.
wrapping the business end of the glaive with like just makeshift leathers, like almost clothing, right? Like a bunch of white shirts. Put up the hood of the cloak, wrap it around his body, use the glaive as like a cane, and just start hobbling forward.
Give me a deception check.
He's going to slump as much as he possibly can. Deception? That's funny. I was so close at 18!
So close!
You can kind of, having had them pointed out to you by your compatriots, you kind of hobble forward ahead of the cart, and like you can see them kind of whispering to each other as you approach, and as you sort of step into the ambush, they stand up. A couple of them have bows drawn, and one of them has like a spear on you. He kind of goes, "What are you up to?"
Passing through.
Well, give us your money.
No.
What do you mean, no? We got bows on you. Give us your money.
He'll start walking. How far away is he from him?
He's probably like 40, 50 feet.
Shoot me and you will burn.
Give me an intimidation check. Do you like kind of throw off your disguise at all?
He'll just look up, like kind of uncrouch a little bit. Oh.
He's like, well, no, look, there's a toll. This is our road. You got to pay 10 gold.
He'll just look around about how many are out pointing shit at him.
There's about 5 of them.
About 5 of them. All right.
Yeah.
He'll take his coin purse. His coin purse that currently has 50 platinum and 987 gold in it, and just drop it on the ground.
Back away from it. Like, because this is a heavy satchel. Just like on the ground. He's like, you get back from it. I'll get back from it.
And he'll just take down his little walking stick and slowly start unraveling the glaive.
He's like, what?
Come take it.
You see one of the bowmen kind of like slackens the bowstring a little bit. She's like, Dolan, I don't know if we should. What do you think, lads? He's like, go get ahead and give me another intimidation check, this time with advantage. As you stand there just slowly unraveling this glaive that gleams.
I can't roll above a 10, you guys. I can't. This is Uther's thing, not mine. But it's funny that I'm doing it.
As you step there, just very calmly unraveling this, revealing this just obviously enchanted, gleaming black steel glaive, you just kind of see them all just very kind of slowly let the tension out of their bows and start to step back from their perches one by one. The guy with the spear is just like, on your way then. And just scampers off into the hills.
No, he'll just be like, you want to know how I earned this money?
Do I have to?
If you want to earn some money like it.
Sure.
By joining a group of about 5 people and killing shit, protecting others, doing good. Because the rest of my friends, one of them might have just straight up shot you with an explosive. Alright, y'all! So he'll just cast thaumaturgy on himself. They're good, they're leaving.
Like, as soon as your voice booms out, he just flat out drops his spear and takes to his heels. And the rest of your day's travel passes in peace. Spend a night camping out among the camping out in the foothills beneath, I assume, the safety of Leomund's tiny hut. The following day, you continue on, approaching a wooded area. As you do so, however, the journey of the day is interrupted by Wander. Your vigilance picks out and gives ample warning as a manticore, apparently spying the horses pulling the wagon, begins to swoop lower and lower.
You pointed out to the group? Literally just pointing at it?
You know, as long as you don't fuck with the tail, the manticore's pretty good eating.
Still kind of circling, gliding lower, apparently assessing the group.
Let me check distance on something.
By the way, just to make it clear, I did pick up my fucking entire life's earnings
Just left. Dollar comes back and is like, holy shit.
We're retiring, guys. Time to open a chicken farm.
I hope you change your ways. Here's all of my money.
we left a pouch, and when you turn over all the gold coins, it says, "Place your faith in Tempest."
When he gets about, let me see, 60 feet above me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hit him with the universal speech.
Okay.
And then I'll just slide into Sylvan, calling up as I'll just say, "Oh, we're predators. We're not food. You don't want this. We'll hurt each other terribly, and you'll never live for another fight. And we have magics, and we will."
Roll me persuade or intimidate with advantage because it was not fucking expecting to understand anything that came out of you.
You know what? You know what? Make it our mount. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Come on,
Valko needs a brother or sister.
Do it.
So yeah, it was kind of circling over your group as you traveled, and finally swoops low enough that you're able to cast this spell and call out to it. And as soon as you do, it just lets out this kind of roaring shriek of confusion and surprise, and just immediately takes off back toward the mountaintops.
I understand this? What the fuck? I'm leaving.
It's like, fuck this.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
And you travel on another day. You estimate you're about halfway now to the foot of the Solvitra mountain. As you pass through several villages, you are able to get more of a lay of the land. You learn the name of a village at the foot of Solvitra mountain, which is reasonably well known in these parts, by the name of Pine Ward, which is known as kind of if it's not potentially the last place that humans live, they're on the lower slopes of the mountain itself. There are certainly the occasional hunter's cabin or something of the like. But Pine Ward is the last, what they would call, outpost of civilization on the slopes of the mountain. And you are able to gain kind of clearer direction there. As you travel, wander, your daily casting of Find the Path, you can sense your destination, the Celestial Observatory, growing closer and closer with each passing day. For the most part, the assistance that you are able to provide to Midnight in finding the routes and guiding you along the paths makes travel a lot easier than it otherwise would have been. You see constantly false trails and dead ends that could have impeded a less, shall we say, well-guided group. But you're able to keep them on, if not the straight, then the direct path as you travel along.
Cool.
The third day passes largely without incident. There are sightings of wolves in the distance, more hamlets and scattered villages that you pass through. But it is on the fourth day when you expect to reach Pine Ward this evening. As you are traveling along, you, in the distance, get very early warning of hearing what sounds like some kind of drunken argument. These great voices bellowing at each other. With calls and shouts that are just rebounding off the mountain top sides to the north. and just roaring out into the air. You can hear them from like a mile away.
Can we discern the language?
Do any of you speak Giant?
Yes! I don't speak Giant.
I can comprehend languages.
Then yes, if you choose to cast, you absolutely would. You would recognize the sounds. Naira certainly would recognize the sounds as being similar to the language that was spoken by the giants that you fought in the passes up toward Gurdak during your first travels there. But obviously, like the accent and the sounds themselves are quite strange. But as you cast comprehend languages and the sounds come into clarity, you gain an understanding of what turns out to be a rather vehement argument over what sounds to be like hunting rights. And eventually you turn into, you come over a hill and look down into a valley where there are a group of about 6 ogres with a pair of large casks between them, dipping mugs into them, quaffing, and engaging in this argument. Apparently too concerned and like involved with their own affairs to be aware of your party as the carriage comes over the rise.
I will communicate that through the earpieces and translate what I hear.
Why does it sound like they're trying to hunt?
Good question. I listen in. I could make that.
You listen for a few moments more, and like pretty quickly you hear sound. You hear one of them complaining that the herds no longer move through the valley that they previously made an agreement about. So you would assume they're talking about deer or something of that nature.
Bambi, presumably.
Oh, it's a shame what happened to his mother. Oh, wait, is this just a nomadic herd of ogre?
Yeah, just about. What do I know about ogres, out of curiosity? Like, am I fairly certain if they see us that we will suddenly be the things they're hunting, or?
I mean, it would vary, but most likely, yes. They are quite territorial when it comes to other kind of sentient life. And so, yes, they most likely would respond pretty negatively to your presence. Right now, they, as I said, they appear mostly engaged in their own argument.
Lerm's like, they're not fucking with civilization. So are just doing their own thing. I'm okay to just leave them be.
Let's go around. Let's go around.
Okay. You kind of turn the cart and go down into a parallel valley, following along. Harry, you understand as the argument gets gradually less and less coherent as whatever they were drinking begins to take more and more effect. Eventually, there is a sound of like, roar, bastard, and the sounds of the what could at most charitably have been called negotiation, turning into full-blown argument and then brawl. And as you travel onward, the sounds of this violence fade behind you. And as the evening draws in, you are approaching closer and closer in the lower slopes of Mount Solvitra. The group finally reaches Pinewood, a scant handful of houses around a wood mill and a number of large kind of drying sheds and barns, all of them surrounded by a tall palisade. As you approach there are kind of hooded and cloaked woodsmen with bows manning the palisade that kind of watch your approach with open and quite bemused curiosity at this colorful, fancy wagon with these obviously well-bred prancing horses pulling it up the path. As your group kind of arrive, and they pull open the gates as you approach, and this rather kind of tall, broad man, not exactly better dressed than everyone else around him, but with with an air of kind of authority to his person as he kind of as he strides forward with his hands his thumbs hitched into his belt. He goes, "Hello, what the? Who are you then? Are you a traveling troupe? Bards?"
Well, some of us are. We definitely do a bit of traveling, and we definitely do put on shows.
Definitely a troop of some kind.
Well, I must admit we have never had we get the occasional bard coming through, but it has been some time, and certainly never before a whole troop. If you have come to entertain us, I cannot promise that you will be the most richly rewarded, but you are certainly welcome. I am Ruskit. I own the mill. Who are you?
This is, as he just gestures towards the group, now a big grin, as he says, this is Wander. He's the finest blacksmith in all the land, so you can create something beyond your understanding. Yes. As he then gestures, this is as well our strong man and our knight extraordinaire, as he leans in a little bit, a real knight and everything. As he...
Oh.
He's talking about midnight.
Miriam Rose. As he then... And you won't see him unless you want him to. As he smiles. This is our tracker and helps us not get lost. As well as, well, other things. This is Scout. And this is my beautiful wife. She takes care of all the business things, the books and the like, making sure we stay exactly where we should be. And I'm Uther Lionsbane.
Welcome to Pine World, Monsieur Uther and friends. You are certainly, as I said, you are most welcome. If you wish to put on an entertainment, you will, of course, welcome it. We can offer you food and lodging as hospitality. Welcome.
Go ahead, Wander. I thought I heard.
Oh no, I was just saying we just found a random mill.
Oh, you were told that this place Pine Ward was the basically the furthest you could get up the slopes and still find anything that would be considered like civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the town on the edge of the frontier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, town is incredibly generous. There's like
Hamlet,
maybe 100 people.
Which means
go ahead.
The cooking's going to be great for the show tonight. Yes, tell everyone we're going to have a show. We might have some questions we need asked. We need to get pointed in a certain direction, but we can take care of all those things.
Well, yes, certainly. The sheds are empty. If you wish to a performance space, the drying sheds are empty after the spring. Please make yourselves at home.
Wondrous. And just smile, and then turn towards, earpiece to the rest of the group, and just say, well, then we can get pretty much anybody that might know the best way up there has been around here, nearest piece of civilization, and then free dinner. I'm kind of getting now relaxed charcuterie boards. It's been a lot of salted meats and cheese.
I mean, looking around, you pretty much expecting a lot more of the same here. Like maybe some fresh meats too, but you know.
I just want eggs. Give me an omelet, man.
But yeah, I mean, like it is getting. You arrived here in kind of the mid to late afternoon. Although, sorry, Nairo, was there a question there? No? Okay. You arrived here in kind of the mid to late afternoon, but yeah, like Rusket, as he had introduced himself, is very kind of happy and excited and a bit proud as he shows you to one of the large kind of drying barns where they would store the timber, and kind of proclaims himself as the owner of the mill and head man of the village. And kind of reiterates his excitement at the prospect of your performance, and is like, yes, I'm sure everyone will be here. As I said, it has been some time since even the traveling bard or tinker has made us stop here. We are somewhat on the ragged edge. But I dare say we make do.
You just brought a drive-in movie theater to an Amish colony.
Yeah, this is gonna blow their mind.
And yeah, like even kind of they're all like, as you are brought through this tiny little place, you know, everybody comes out to look at the weirdos that just rolled into town. You get the very distinct impression that none of them have ever seen a non-human before. And so they're all just staring at you guys with eyes like saucers. Even Valko is like not even the weirdest thing about your group for once. So just watching you.
Are they all? Is it all? Like, are there like children here as well?
Yeah, oh yeah. It is like a village and a community. I'm just quite a small, you know, out there one.
Yeah, as we're walking by, Midnight just like pulls his tail in and looks at a kid and says, "Don't touch."
But yeah, I mean, very quickly you find you're led into, as I said, this kind of big drying barn, and very quickly townsfolk start to kind of shuffle in behind you, and you can kind of see guys getting pulled in off the watchtowers and hurrying in, and there's you actually hear one of them, like somebody yelling up the mountain with one of those calls that's designed to echo, and several minutes later, some other people could start hurrying in and things like that. And yeah, very quickly, you guys find yourselves like just unasked for, basically about 100 people just packed in, just kind of watching to see what you do next. Rusket quite quickly kind of comes in and says, please, you will have to forgive them. But yes, as I said, we will be more than happy to provide you with what hospitality we have. We have some mead, a few bottles of wine, although I am certain you will have tasted better on the plains, but we do what we can. And, some rather good stew.
Wondrous, start taking care of my friends as the rest of you start thinking any questions you got, as he'll then pull out the guitar and just smile towards Naira and just speak in like musical code, and it's like, second act, 2/3, we're gonna go cut the 3/4 out. I'm definitely gonna agree with you. We're gonna emphasize Dark 35 on dragons, hold the note on the long and then just smile, turning back, and strum on the guitar, and just go, gather round, dear townsfolk, come one and all. I've a tale of heroes, let me regale you all. The lion's banes, brave souls, bold and true, they've slain dragons and evil beasts. They have slew. In a small town like ours, where stories are born, these champions rose on a glorious morn with their blades of steel and hearts of flame. They fought honor and glory to their humble name. So raise your mugs and cheer with glee for the lion's banes. Your saviors, you'll see. In your little town where dreams take flight, they've shown us the way to stand up and fight. And then play out the music.
Holy shit! Roll with advantage. I had a free bardic inspiration, sir.
I will take it. Give it.
Oh hell yeah!
Holy shit! So,
And of course,
guys-
you know, you gotta blow their mind properly.
I mean, like,
Nels,
legitimately blowing minds. Like, there are none of them understand quite what is going on. Some of them flat out like shriek and run away as you start conjuring the magics, but then are drawn back in by far and away the finest show any of them had ever conceived of, let alone dreamt of actually viewing. The entire town just absolutely captivated, watching you with like eyes like saucers, jaws on the floor, and like an absolutely captive audience until the final note, where there's like this long, drawn out silence of just absolute astonishment.
Damn, poor Mark.
Yes.
It was his day off and he slept through this shit.
And then, and then at the very end, Scout just sort of looks around and goes, yeah. And then everybody goes, yeah.
Yeah, just like thunderous applause as they all kind of come back to themselves, like, "Oh right, cheering!" Burst into this absolute rapturous like exultation at what they've just seen, as a show more than fit for a king's court is brought to this tiny hamlet of Pine Ward. You are all like they basically rush what passes for the stage, and like Uther, you spend the next half hour getting your hand mangled by by a succession of lumberjacks wanting to shake it. Naira equally all being fawned over. Naira being fawned over, like none of them seem quite sure like how to interact with you. You being the first tabaxi they've ever kind of spoken with, or even seen in most cases. But all of them like just stumbling over themselves to praise you and this spectacle that they have seen. You have more than generated goodwill with the townsfolk. You are, although the entire group, like they cannot press enough mead and food and other things onto you. The state, you know, those who know about animals are fighting each other for the honor of caring for your horses, and the like. Any questions you wish to have answered shall be happily done so.
As I imagine now, everybody's kind of that big, like, the whole town's like, okay, we're having dinner together, and they all just, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it's just like an impromptu, you have spawned this kind of impromptu party, and nobody wants to be anywhere else tonight.
God damn it.
Oh, that's so good.
Just complete with Brad Pitt. Chad Wander.
At some point, Naira's going to feel a little bit mischievous, and she's going to attempt to reach over and prestige Uther's food so it tastes like salted meat and cheese.
Yes.
Give me. There is certainly plenty of distraction around, so give me a probably maybe stealth check with advantage, unless there's something else you think would be better.
I can do stealth, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes, you are able to find a very opportune moment as this hulking brute of a man kind of just pumps Uther's arm up and down, shaking his hand, taking his attention away from his food for a moment. as he recounts the time that he went down to the plains and saw a genuine bard of Sorveni give a performance. But obviously, that person didn't have a patch on him.
How many children would you say there are around?
Probably about 20, 30.
Oh, perfect. Collectively, I will give them all 5 gold to split amongst themselves, however they'd love to do that. And over the next hour, I've convinced each of them one at a time to go up to Lorium and give him a rock.
So do you just like gather the children's attention and hand them 5 gold and tell them to split it?
No, I probably go to them in like small groups and like I've split it myself. Like I'm
Okay.
smarter than that, but like, yeah, like I work my way through them.
Beats the shit out of them.
That was what was going to happen. Yeah.
I thought about that afterwards, but like, I will spend the equivalent of 3 gold on all of these children.
Oh yeah, like you hand them a silver, they're just like, I will follow you into battle, my lord. So yeah, Lorium, you find yourself over the course of the evening gaining quite a collection of very charming rocks. As Uther, you find what was a rather charming, if rustic, venison stew, suddenly tasting alarmingly like salted meat and cheese.
How can I not escape this?
Naira, her whiskers keep twitching at you. She's just like, is something wrong?
No, I'm sure you think it's great. Just tastes really fun.
And then she will switch bowls with you.
I feel like at first, like the first kid to come up to Lorium and just like tap him on the leg or something, he just bends down and is like,
well,
hey,
the first
guy,
kid kind
what
of
you
comes
got
up. The first kid kind of comes up and like pulls on your cloak, and then as soon as you turn around and like look down at them, he looks up and and you can immediately see the regret written all over his face as he just looks up and then up some more at your single eye, and he just kind of goes
and gives you a rock
with a pebble in his palm.
Hey, little guy, thank you, bud. I'll just like gauntleted hand.
You're welcome.
At his head.
Yeah. And they don't get the money until they come back to me after doing it.
Okay.
I'll make my way over.
Lorium, these are children. They're not particularly stealthy or good at obfuscating their intentions. You do see this parade of like they come to you, give you this rock, and then immediately beeline back to midnight.
Giving a child a dagger.
What the fuck?
You see that? Just
And the kid immediately just goes,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What
I'm
the
kidding.
silver?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He doesn't even have a dagger. I give him a lance. No, I'm kidding. No, like he's gonna be like, you know what? No, tell them to stop. I see what's going on here. Here, look at this, and then he just activates a fucking immovable rod in the air. It lets go. It floats, and he just fucking puts one foot up on it and just stands on it. Like balances.
Midnight, this show is worth more than a silver.
That's fair. I'll say that we got through 20 of the kids, so I'll just take a gold back.
You're gonna take a gold back for the kids?
Well, they didn't do it, so give them
He
money.
hadn't yet distributed it yet, so
Yeah, they got it as soon as they got back to me.
Oh no.
So you just cost 10 kids 10 silver.
I don't know that. I just know that you were fucking with them.
Anyway, in this rather like festival atmosphere, the natives of Pine Ward give you the warmest welcome that they are able. Uther, you did say that you wanted to use this opportunity to gather some potential information. There are certainly among them a vast collection, or a very common collection of woodsmen, hunters, lumberjacks, definitely people that would be at home and knowledgeable about the lower slopes of Solvitar.
I would try and just... Yeah, see if there's like, hey, what's the best way up? You know what I mean? And try and explain where we've got to go to, because honestly, I'm not worried about them telling people things, and just be like, yeah, we're trying to find this place for some reasons, and like, what's the best way you've seen, and have you guys been up there? That kind of stuff around there.
For the most part, none of them have climbed very high. Certainly, like not above the. Several of them have ventured above the snow line. In fact, the hunters very commonly do, especially in summer. But not above the tree line. Above there, it is barren rock, bad weather, and certainly more than simple wolves and the like to worry about. They tell you tales that could be told or could be truthful of all manner of monsters and strange beasts that they have seen up there. Roll me a insight check.
Nice.
17, okay. You do get one. Like a lot of them, you are able to tell have this air of a tall tale. You know, things that they tell each other, they tell to their kids to stop them from wandering off into the woods at night and things like that. But there is one story that a local legend that is told that has a ring of truth to it about. Above the tree line, among the high crags, there is a tale of a beast of unknown description. Like it is described in a number of different ways, depending on precisely who is telling the story. That hates light and flame, and so if you are traveling in the high mountains, it is wise to to find a cave, seal the entrance, and light no fire, lest it come and find you. However, the more practical information that you are able to glean is that, unfortunately, if you do intend to travel further up the slopes, it will be inadvisable to take your wagon or your horses much further. The only tracks north from Pineward are tracks that they use to bring down lumber and the like from the slopes, and those will be ill-suited to your wagon. And even then, they will only take you maybe a mile or two further. However, given the performance that you have just given and the joy that you have brought to the town with it, the spectacle that you have a feeling they will talk of for essentially the rest of their lives, Rusket is more than happy to offer the use of his barn. He does not believe that they will have need of it until they look to refill it with trees being felled throughout the rest of the summer and fall. And he will be more than happy to guarantee the security of your wagon and your mounts for at least 2 months in gratitude for the show that you've given. It'll be his honor to host, to assist such august guests.
Very much appreciated. And then you would flip him a platinum because he's probably never seen one.
Oh my god, man. We've broken this town's economy.
He is just like,
You just
yes.
I didn't even know they made bills this big.
I will look after your horses personally.
walked onto a farm in like Alabama and dropped 10 grand.
We know what 10 grand is in Alabama.
Yes, but just a random fucking person.
Then we don't trust you,
Yeah.
fucking sicko.
We're leaving the horses in the wagon. Hum 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 hum.
Yeah, we're gonna be roughing it.
Naira, was that? Sorry, I thought I heard Naira there.
Yeah, what about Raccoon?
Russet kind of is a little bit he sort of looks over at the mention and kind of sees Valko just very happily like watching this whole affair. Most of the villagers are giving him kind of a wide berth. But he says,
Would you like to see the tricks he can do?
Yes, very, very much so.
I will call him over. And have him do a couple of normal ones. Lie down, roll over, sit, that kind of thing. And then I'll be like, actually, Lauren, can I borrow you for a second?
Depends.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Valko, can you drag him?
Squints.
Valko just very happily trots over, gathers up your cloak in his mouth, and starts going. "Rah."
Like a good boy.
Oh no.
Oh no. Cannon.
Now drop it. And she chucks a stick and says, fetch. And of course, tiny stick compared to his massive mouth, but you know.
And yeah, like with this demonstration of like his obedience and the fact that he isn't this, because these as frontier folk are familiar with direwolves, and so we're up till now treating him with more than a modicum of caution. But at this display, like all of the huntsmen are agog, the children are absolutely enthused, and just crowd around you and Valko now, just like, oh my gosh, I want to play on the giant puppy.
If you and she'll tell the kids, see, if you give him a scratch behind the ear, he'll give you a quick little ride.
And just a disorderly queue forms. And like seeing this, Rusket is just like, oh, well, I mean, certainly, yes, we would be more than happy to host such a remarkable creature. Yes. I mean, how long do you expect your excursion up the mountain to take?
And I pivot to wander. How long will it take?
Jim, how long will it take?
You would estimate that at this point, you are approximately, given the path that it wants you to follow, you're about 10 miles from Kars Barazat. Given the description that you got from Baranor as to the location of the Celestial Observatory and things like that, you would estimate you're maybe 7 to 8 miles from the entrance as described by Baranor, up the mountain before you were able to enter the interior.
That's like
depending on yeah, probably if you make decent progress up the mountain, it's probably about 3 days.
Okay.
Maybe a week.
Well, yes, certainly. It's not a problem. He kind of looks down at the platinum in his hand. He's like,
Oh, and you don't have to worry. He can go out and hunt for himself. But any treats he will appreciate.
So, he kind of looks over at the hunters who are just like, And yeah, no, they all agree that they will be more than happy to host your magnificent beast, as they now refer to him, in addition to your mounts and your wagon. For so as long as you need them, is the promise that they give, given that you have set the expectation it will be no longer than a week.
Well, if it takes longer, we'll just scare one of them half to death when Wander speaks in their head.
And sure, what are they gonna do? Tell him to go away? I come back.
Like, you tell him.
Yeah.
Unless I find
The giant armored wolf is like, you tell him to leave. No, you tell him to leave.
unless I find a space where I could comfortably have Sunshine summoned. Of course, Lorian will be leaving Sunshine here as well,
Okay.
and just be saying, keep him relatively safe, seeing as how there was a band of ogres a day away.
And Naira will wander over to Wander at some point.
Okay.
Is that some point now? Is everybody else done?
Seems like it.
Yeah, go for
Can
it.
be, yeah.
How you doing? You've been awfully quiet.
I've not much to share.
Are you excited?
I am ready.
Are you happy?
Not yet.
Oh, Wander.
Give me an insight check.
Great at these.
You're mean.
Just roll high. It's a choice. Just roll high. You,
I was
you
so
chose
close
not
to a
to.
20. That was so close to a 20. She
You do have an inspiration if you want.
fuck it. What else am I gonna use it on? I'll do that. But
and the ogres show up tomorrow.
The giant dragon.
wasn't much better. What a brilliant waste of inspiration.
You rolled double your original. So I mean,
That's-
it's pretty
No,
good.
she trusts Wander and she believes that he will tell her the truth.
Cool. It says, nothing is wrong. There is just much to prepare for and remember.
I can help with. I'm quite good at preparing, and she sort of looks in Uther's direction. I am the bookkeeper, after all.
He shakes his head just slowly and only a little, and he says, I don't know yet. Soon.
Soon?
Then he kind of, almost to himself, nods a bit and goes, soon.
And now, me and such.
You say give me an insight check?
Mm-hmm.
18.
Yours are way better than mine. Naira is smiling in that way that doesn't reach her eyes. And her ears have drooped a little bit, telling you that she is sad. But she's trying to appear happy for you. And she goes, okay, well, I'm really excited we get to do this. It's something you asked for help with a long time ago, and I'm just so pleased we're doing this for you. You let me know if there's anything I can do, okay? And then she sort of stutter steps a little, and then almost jumps at you and gives you a bit of a hug. And then before you react at all, she withdraws and then returns to Ether.
And before you walk away, he'll say one thing. Do you stop?
Yeah, she spins and like very quickly, ears up.
And he looks at you, and you get this impression that he's like this is a deep stare. You can't tell because light eye, but there's a lot of focus and emphasis on what he thinks he's gonna say now. And he says, "Will you treat Murdoch differently?"
She tilts her head and she says, differently than what?
Then you did.
Hold on. Can I figure out that he remembers?
With a 23, yeah, I'd say that's definitely a leap in logic that Naira would be able to make.
I didn't even know you rolled. I thought you. Yeah, no, that that is the thing that makes sense.
Yeah, easily.
You remember how Murdoch was before the magic.
And still making eye contact with you, he says, "I do."
The wisest person. I can be quite naive. But I don't tend to forget a lesson once I've learned it. I am hopeful that Murdoch is a better man and the world is a better place. But the life I lived was real. And I am smarter now than I was. I
I don't know how I'm going to treat Murdoch. And that's the honest truth.
And kind of looks away a little in that way that would normally suggest a person was kind of contemplating and mulling over what you say. And then he'll look back in the direction of the... It's in the direction of Karaz Barazad, not in the direction of the Celestial Observatory, right?
Correct. Yes. Like you can actually find the path is kind of, you can tell is sort of leading up and then down into the mountain itself. So you're actually looking slightly down from where you are to where Karaz Barazad would be.
Okay. Yeah, he'll go back to looking towards that, and he'll say, "We've lived twice now. So has he." And then he'll just kind of not become lost in thought, like he's still present there, but he initiates the end of the conversation.
And Nara will hesitate for just a second, and she will say, Can I ask you one thing?
Yes.
Do you know why I did it?
No.
Do you care to know?
Yes.
He hurt Midnight. Wounded him so badly he couldn't heal. It was like watching him die every day. And there was nothing I could do about it. And then suddenly there was. And she shrugs. And she says, I don't care if I get Murdoch back. I never cared. But well, look at Midnight. And she will look over at Midnight, who I presume is still playing with the kids and the dog.
Oh god. Just like
That's all you toggling through.
I was trying to turn off the fucking mute. Yeah, Midnight is like in the past you could tell that there were times when he would have joy, like in the past life he would have joy, but there was always like a shadow over it. That's not there anymore. He is truly living, and he's in the moment, and he's having so much fun with these kids. and trying to get them to stop touching my goddamn tail.
I have no regrets. Anyway. You let me know if there's anything I can do to help, okay?
He just nods.
And then she'll return to Uber.
Both of you take inspiration for that wonderful conversation.
Very lighthearted.
Especially the music.
In some ways. And as the night wears on, the inhabitants of Pine Ward enjoy their honored and much fated guests, warming up very quickly to each of you. Even you, Wander, like being approached with some very curious questions as to, do you ever take off your armor? And can you take off your helmet? Over the course of the evening. But you are made very welcome. Gradually, the evening wears on. Some of the mothers begin shepherding the children away. The women and the men themselves gradually fading as time wears on, stopping to shake each of you by the hand and welcome you once again to Pine Ward before they depart for their own places. Rusket asks if there is the hospitality of if you would like a hearth to stay at, or if you would prefer to stay in your wagon for the night before he leaves.
Up to the group. Lorem's fine with sleeping under the wagon as usual.
I'll sleep in the wagon. I like my wagon, thank you.
I can see why you would. It is a it is a fine and most wondrous creation. And he bids you a good night as the night outside closes in. And with that, I think we shall end tonight's session and begin next week with your ascent up Mount Solvitra.
With all the lights on.
Fire coming out of everywhere. Lights.
Keep it $1.50. I'm not turning my light off.
Lorem just has flame bearer.
Just he holds it up higher.
It's like, well, now I'm going to make fire even more.
I'm gonna
Come
cast
at
wall
me,
of fire.
giant bird demon!
But anyway, cool. Well, I hope you all had fun with tonight's session. We shall see next week what the rest of the path to the Celestial Observatory brings you, and what awaits you indeed at the observatory itself, and then your descent into Kars Barazad.
Yay!
We're going back underground? Cool.
We're going somewhere.
We're
It's
going,
quite underground.
Space
we're going into space.
underground.
That's what I said. Underground space. I signed up for a planar travel.
You're assuming that's not in your cards.
No, I'm assuming it is in the card. That's what I signed up for.
Fair enough.
We'll just leave Lorium outside.
I'm so excited. I have to wait for them, but I have Finger of Death and Powerword Stun in spellbooks just waiting for me.
Right? Isn't it fun to find a higher level spellbook and just be like, soon?
Soon.
Mine.
One day.
Well, what's great about it as well is the guy that had those spells in his spellbook, you did not even have to fight for him. You just rolled a nat 20 in your persuade check, and that was that.
Oh, right. That guy.
Oh, and I wasn't here for that.
The power of the exchange student.
I think you were, Nick, you were...
No.
controlling
That was
right?
that guy. That guy only had up to level 6 in his spellbook.
Oh,
Cardic Bode was the one that had Finger of Death and everything in his. Yeah, he was the guy who you didn't even, because you did technically have to fight the exchange student guy, even if it was just like a circle beat, rather than an actual fight.
We have convinced so many people to do so many things at this point.
We totally sanded him.
I remember. Yeah. Kill yourself.
You will never beat Tyler and is my buddy Jacob of gaslighting a sphinx into gaining a name, leaving its hoard, and flying off into the sunset only to be eaten by a dragon.
Oh my god.
No. The best part about that is that the Sphinx was charged by a god to guard the horde. That's all it had to do. Jacob was like, well, I mean, he hasn't been here in like hundreds of years. So who's to say he's even still alive or like that he even cares? I'm just telling
Does
you,
he
I'm
care
gonna name
about
you.
you?
Why would he care about you if he's not even here? Like, go live your life. The dude's not even alive anymore. And he flew off. And the only character who saw what happened was mine. And I just saw him get fucking mollywopped by a dragon. Like, instant death. And I was just like, wow, that, I shouldn't listen
The god really did care, huh?
Yeah, that god was like, well, fuck you, dragon.
The dragon almost killed us, too.
Yeah, I can't wait I can't wait for all the like later encounters where it's just like each of you single combat face a dragon. Have fun.
Lorium says, okay.
Someone already did that.
He's just like, bet.
Yeah, Naira's gonna be great at that.
Two people in the party
I
can
can
already
ride
do that.
another dragon?
I mean, yeah, she basically did solo one in the Lost Chapters
And
adventure.
got down to single digits, and then the kill was from me.
Died to a coin.
It just went pew.
That dragon died to a coin.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
we need at least 2 more dragons so the other 2 of us can steal a kill.
I don't think I've actually hit a dragon yet.
Wait, did
No,
you
yeah,
not
'cause-
do anything against the bookworm?
Wall of Fire, but that's not a hit.
Yeah, that's not a hit.
Wait, y'all killed a bookworm?
Yeah.
Aww. They're so cute. They're good pets.
Yeah, we
No, different book. BOOKWYRM.
Oh,
that
Yeah.
it was pretty funny. Andrew said something about a bookworm, and I immediately went, "How do you spell that?"
I was like, Midnight was so excited he took a piece of it, and when they came back into the library, he just had a little index card for like a book on dragons. Like Lorium's never gonna believe me.
Oh, that was a fun little one shot.
I love dimensions, pocket dimensions.
It's so much fun. Hey.
I swear to God, you guys are actually going to go, like, it's going to be canon, like a canon event. You guys are going into another plane. And something's going to happen in my life where I can't make it that day because it's just fated.
You're not gonna be there for the Space Bears.
No. I just can't wait.
Man, you guys have been looking forward to these space bears for like literally months.
Yes.
I need to make sure
No
that
pressure.
Kaz Barazad. Yeah, there's some pressure on me for this bit. I gotta say.
I need Space Bear culture. I need Space Bear art.
I just
I need
wanna
Space Bear
wrestle a space
economic
bear.
system.
He's
I like to
gonna play-
imagine.
Okay.
I like to imagine that Andrew's original plan was for it to be like Morse code between planes, and that's it.
Yeah,
Just like beep, 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 beep. Oh, okay, cool. That was easy. But now he's like,
it's just gonna be
"Fuck,
like
I
a
have
mirror
portal."
where it writes. Yeah, it's gonna have to be a whole thing.
Now it's the entire movie Brother Bear in one fucking scene.
If we get there and they're all just like, "Hey, boo boo, look at these out of towners."
I'm going back to the normal place.
Wonder what are you talking
Never
about? You just
mind.
need a picnic a basket.
But they're still like CR like 12 or some shit. They talk like
Yeah.
Yogi Bear, but they're just incredibly dangerous.
No, each of them is just based off of a different type of bear. Just fictional bears.
There's Brown Bear, Yogi Bear.
There's one of the other
Brother
one.
Bear.
Like, oh bother, he's on about the picnic baskets again.
But I need some honey.
And then there's the Grizzly Bear, and it's just the bear from the Revenant.
And they're like, but be careful of the cocaine bear.
He's famous. He let the fame go to his head and he bought more cocaine.
Oh my gosh, speaking of bears, do y'all keep up with I think it's the Fat Bear Contest?
No.
The national park holds it every year. This year's champion, I believe, is Nasher. She is a mother and all-around badass. I'm trying to remember how much she weighed. But it's so cool. It's held by the National Park System, and they have it every year. I think it's called Fat Bear Week.
Razor.
Yeah, Brazer. That's what it is. What Nash? You said Nasher the other day, and that got stuck in my head. But yeah, Brazer.
Although my favorite sentence in this article about that is, on the last day of the contest, Grazer beat out her competition, 32 Chunk.
Yeah. 32 Chunk.
It's definitely a bit of a drunkard.
Yeah, but
I want cuddles.
they're all adorable. But like, and they like people vote on them the whole week. Like, it is so much fun.
No joke. I just said I want cuddles, and my dog just walked over. It was like,
I am available.
You wish.
I volunteer as tribute.
But alright, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for the session, everybody. I will see you anon.
Thank you for the session. See you next week.
Bye.
See you next week, everybody. Bye.